Hello, welcome to Cutting to the Bull, the post-truth apocalypse.
Hey, first time.
Yeah, I'm a pro now. As always, I'll introduce myself first. That's usually the way we go.
Getting cocky.
Getting cocky in my professionalism. I'm Ben. I'm joined by Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
Today, it's a bit of a special thing. We're doing the Weird News part live on Facebook. And we're not massive egomaniacs that we don't always listen to the full theme music for our own show before every episode. I just want to point that out. That's just a live thing. We're not. Today.
Well, I for one like it.
It's the first time I've fucking heard it, so I didn't know there was a fucking full version, so I quite enjoyed that. I mean, anyone watching on live is just going to see me sitting there like a plum for a minute. But I was enjoying it. So yeah.
Shall I introduce today's topic first? It is the Princess Diana conspiracies, alleged conspiracies.
Well, conspiracies alleged. You're going to have
to pull me off the fence on this one.
Well, alright, save it for the end.
But yeah, so if this is your first episode, we do fake news for a bit, usually sort of 35, 40 minutes. This is being streamed live on Facebook as well. So.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, I forgot. Anyone watching this on Facebook, if you want to actually listen to the podcast, you can get it iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, and these are all free apps that you can download. Just search for us, Player FM. We're on Spotify now. YouTube, we're on YouTube too. But yeah, if you could subscribe, rate it, say nice things.
Please don't say bad things.
Yeah, if you've got bad things to say, just email them to me privately, and I will respond. And
he has an excellent response rate.
I'm actually banned from communicating with our listeners. I lost my admin privileges because I just can't be trusted. Me and other people don't mix well. I like Ben and Mike and my girlfriend. Kind of it, really.
There'll be a few others.
I have one or two, but since the girlfriend, I've done what everyone does when they get a new girlfriend, and that is you set about systematically avoiding all of your friends. Oh. That's what you do.
I suppose so, yeah, to a point, but yeah, well,
so anyway,
you have progressed to being virtually married pretty quickly.
I mean, you were at Jungle Land today for 2 hours with the kids.
Exactly. Giving up your own Sunday to go to a kiddies soft play area.
Jungle Land. I had more fun than I'm willing to let on. For the first half an hour, it got upsetting after that. But so that's it. So yeah, if you enjoy this, listen to the audio version where we go pretty in depth into a new subject each week and have a laugh along the way.
It's more of a talk show with beer.
Yeah. Oh, and if your thing isn't listening to people get progressively more drunk and allegedly high whilst attempting to do a podcast, then this probably isn't the one for you.
No, don't be like that guy that said we should just leave the UFO community.
Yeah, we made some guy say that he was ashamed to be British.
Which I like.
But I say fuck that guy anyway.
What's he know?
Yeah, was he?
He wanted a serious podcast. Bark up the wrong tree, mate.
He didn't. He's a sort of tool who listens to a podcast without reading the description first. I mean, if he'd have read the description, it's a pretty good description, I'd say.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I digress. Should we do some weird news?
Yes, some messed up stuff we found on the net this week.
Hit me with it, Mike.
Designers of waterslide that decapitated boy had no technical qualifications. If we actually knew how to do this and it could be done that easily, it wouldn't be that spectacular.
How does a waterslide decapitate someone?
I don't know, but I read this article and I'll give you the quick gist of it. Okay. Is that these two guys designed a water slide, took it to this theme park, and they went, "That's fantastic. We'll build that."
Wow.
And they made a few modifications along the way, just because stuff didn't work out. And then it turned out it was completely and massively unsafe. And these guys had no engineering qualifications at all.
Well,
it's like they were
strange.
just playing fucking theme park tycoon or something.
Oh my life. Does it go into detail of how did it actually decapitate a child?
I don't
It's
know.
a water fucking slide. They're quite simple, aren't they? I mean, again, I don't have any technical qualifications, and hence I haven't gone around about designing a water slide. But in my head,
It's a slide with
it's
some
a
water.
fucking slide
Yeah.
with water being pumped out through it, isn't it? How does it decapitate a
Maybe had a
child?
guillotine at the end.
Had cheese wire strung across the top of it to stop people getting out.
Criminal charges have
Give
been...
us a wave. Oh! His hand's gone. Oh, we shouldn't laugh, but it's a tragic event.
It's
You know,
not
sharks,
tragic, it's not my kid.
Schadenfreude and all that. It's just messed up. I mean, the director of operations, the former director of operations of the park, Tyler Mills, is now facing he's on a manslaughter charge over it.
Oh, quite rightly.
Actually,
Don't they
I tell you,
test
I
these
tell you this. It says a raft carrying the boy and two women went airborne, forcing his head into a pole.
Oh, fuck! Oh, hard enough for his head to be removed.
A grand jury indictment made public on Friday said verfucht, or verrucht,
They're fucked.
German
German for insane, violated nearly all aspects of industry safety standards.
Well, it's well named then.
Yeah.
Verrückt, I believe. Go back to my German A level there.
Oh, is that, yeah, that's another R as well as an F.
Schlittschuhlaufen.
Ja.
Ich gehe ins Kino.
Court documents and park co-owner Jeff Henry and lead designer John Shuley concocted the idea of building the world's tallest water slide in 2012 on the spur of the moment.
I might design like a new rocket system to go to space just on the spur of the moment, and then go on NASA, have that. It'll work.
But didn't they like build a model? And I would like to imagine that when one builds something like this, there's a little model made, and you do some calculations of speed and velocity, and don't they?
You'd think so.
Surely.
And they did do that. Yeah, they did build a little model, and they tried to address problems where the rafts were going airborne.
Right.
And obviously it didn't work.
Why
No.
didn't they move the pole?
It's a 51 metre slide. I mean, it's pretty big.
Jesus.
I wouldn't go on it. That's a fair height.
Well, I wouldn't go on it now.
No.
Well, I wouldn't go on anything that's called insane.
So hang on though, it's a slide. This might be slightly dark, but for somebody at the bottom who was waiting, instead of seeing a raft, they saw a decapitated human child's head roll down the remainder of the slide and plop down at the bottom.
And then just float, and then turn upside
Flopping around
down,
in the water.
and then just turn upside down probably before it sank very slow. No, it was float, yeah.
And this is the thing that's really going to piss me off. A total of 11 people suffered injuries, including slipped spinal discs, whiplash, broken toes, and lacerations on the ride in the period between when it became operational in July 2014 and the accident.
Wow.
So it's not as if there weren't warnings there.
That's insanely negligent.
Yeah.
Verrückt's designers and operators knew that Verrückt posed a substantial and unjustifiable risk of death or severe bodily harm. But that's what you put on your marketing. It's called insane, and it may kill you.
Yeah. Think you're hard.
Think you're hard. Think you're Ronnie Pickering.
Yeah. Think you're an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
This might kill you.
Yeah. And there's lots of people been injured already, so step on up. But
Broken toes. Ooh, on a water slide. Just think about that. Crunk. Just ow. No.
Ooh, and then trying to swim away with a broken toe at the end. Ooh,
I don't like it.
No, I'm not a fan. Right. So what we got next?
So just before we move on, sorry guys, someone is going to prison, aren't they? And
He's been charged, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Miles pleaded not guilty to the charge on Friday and was later released on bail, which has been set at $50,000.
Okay.
Which is only £35,000 now.
Jeez.
Usually more than that.
And this is a guy who's got the sort of money that he can just, build a giant water slide on a whim.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So the next one. I am not a lizard. Mark Zuckerberg, his latest celebrity, asked about the reptilian conspiracy.
Oh dear.
Mark Zuckerberg would like you to know that he is not a shape-shifting lizard person bent on world domination where you could afford me. The billionaire chief executive of Facebook hosted his first Q&A town hall using the social network's live video streaming program to field questions from users. Someone asked him, is he really a reptile disguised as a human? What do you think he said?
He's not going to admit it, is he? Why would you admit it?
I thought they were being more open after all that data was stolen.
Well, look, you know at the end of the first Iron Man film, where Tony Stark goes to the press conference and says, yeah, I am Iron Man, and everyone's like, yeah, oh, and it's all exciting. It would be like that, but the opposite.
What if he was
I am a
reptilian?
lizard. I am a lizard.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, fuck you. Right?
What if Tony Stark was both a reptilian and Iron Man?
Well, he might be, because he's up there. He's a powerful guy.
Global elite.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, look, I don't know. I'm not going to come off the fence on whether or not Mark Zuckerberg is or is not part of the reptilian elite shapeshifters.
And I think it would be wrong of us to get off that fence.
I think it would be wrong to presume either way. But I think I could, maybe, no, I won't be going out on a limb saying this, he's never going to admit that. How can any of them admit it? And the fact that he's addressing it, you know what they say, the bigger the front, the bigger the back. Methink the lady doth protest too much.
Ooh.
I just quoted Shakespeare on the fucking country bull, yeah. I think that's Shakespeare, isn't it?
Sounds it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
as always, Lister, you're the fact checker.
Yeah,
some old dude in the old ages.
Yeah, there's some old fucking. So, yeah, why is he addressing it? Why didn't he just wave it off? I'm not answering that ridiculous question. He's having to reiterate and spell out to the listening public. No, I'm not a shape-shifting lizard.
He does say, the question is, Mark, are the allegations true that you're secretly a lizard? Zuckerberg read aloud, I'm going to have to go with a no on that. He added, I'm not a lizard. The Facebook founder paused to lick his lips.
So his forked tongue come out. I'm not a lizard.
He zaps a fly over his
He got a fly.
catches a fly with his tongue. I'm not a lizard. You just catch a fly.
I have seen a video on YouTube of that. A news presenter, some Swiss guy or something. He's sitting there and then he just catches a fly.
What?
With his tongue or the Miyagi chopsticks.
With his tongue?
Is this CGI?
Yeah, I think he's doctored, obviously. But he's like, you just see him catch his fly.
Why would some Swiss news presenter be a reptilian? You get some underling for that, surely.
Oh man! But Mark Zuckerberg, would he be a reptilian though? Because he's not one of the family, not one of the
bloodlines.
The bloodlines, no, the elite. He's new money, isn't he? Quote, new money, which is someone who came into money.
Yeah.
He's not nothing special. His name, his bloodline, is nothing special.
Maybe he comes from a young, ambitious family of reptilians looking to cause some shit, uprook the old establishment of lizards.
It's possible, but he's not going to admit it, is he?
No, sadly
And
not.
he did create Facebook, which is the biggest spy in the world.
Well, he stole Facebook apparently, didn't he?
Oh, we're actually on it now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Oh no, he didn't steal Facebook. And you're not a lizard, Mr.
You are
Zuckerberg.
not a lizard, Mr. Zuckerberg, and you'd have to be a fool to believe so.
Nah, he's a fucking lizard.
Definitely
Allegedly,
a lizard.
Mike. The catchphrase of the show is allegedly.
Well, Zuckerberg called it a very silly question and moved on to less silly things such as techno-telepathic thought sharing.
That's going to be a reality.
Does that mean that if I'm logged into Facebook and someone thinks a status update, I'll immediately see it in my own head? Oh God, that's got to be
It says
annoying.
techno-telepathic.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you get techno music blasted from someone?
I will be able to telepathically send you a jungle playlist.
Techno.
Too unlimited.
That song came up on the last episode.
Did it?
I think so. I've got a memory of it. Anyway,
Yeah.
that might have been a fever dream. I don't know.
What a fever dream, though.
What's next? So do you think he's a lizard before we move on?
Well, I don't. He may not be a lizard, but he might be one of the guys working for him. Allegedly.
Okay.
Thank you for your live streaming tonight, Mr. Zuckerberg.
Well, I suppose what I'm asking is that the lizard people are real, but that's an entire other.
That's from the missing episode.
It is one of the we listener recorded an episode on the reptilian elite, and the CIA destroyed our computer.
After spying on us with a giant wasp. That is true.
Yeah, well,
Maybe.
it's a fact that the computer fucked up and we lost it. You can't prove that it's not a fact that was somehow done by the CIA.
There was a giant wasp.
Yeah.
Giant
It had
wasp.
nothing to do whatsoever with my technical incompetence.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
No. I mean, you're a science officer, for God's sake.
I mean, we watched you try and attach that G-clamp earlier. That's not a sex toy, it's what you put the mic stand in.
Is it not? Shit.
You may need to disinfect that.
Moving on. Artist creates grim, flesh-coloured human hair shoes to highlight the sexualisation of high heels.
What the... Hang on, I don't even understand it.
No, I'm not getting it.
Artist creates a grim, flesh-coloured human hair shoes.
Right.
But how'd you get flesh-coloured human hair?
Well, they're flesh-coloured shoes with human hair.
Alright.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's a
Highlight
picture.
the sexualisation of high heels. How do they...
Well, that's just minging. That's literally a pair of shitty high heels that are pink with some...
It looks like...
Pubic hair.
It looks like your
Pubic hair
barber...
stuck to 'em.
It looks like your barber was wearing those shoes while he cut your hair.
Yeah.
And your hair fell on his
Yeah.
on his pink high heels.
Forget Jimmy Choo or Jimmy Shoe, is it?
Jimmy Choo.
Is
I
it
think.
Jimmy Choo?
I've no idea.
I've never bought a pair.
Allegedly.
I sniffed a pair at the gym once. I'm joking. I've never been to a gym.
Oh, yeah. Some Chinese, I don't know, it's a man or a woman to be fair, Zhu Tian.
It's Jimmy Choo. Oh, sorry. We moved
Yeah,
on.
they're the work of Chinese artist Zhu Tan, who has created them in protest against against the sexualization of shoes. And some people do have a shoe fetish. Jerry Brudos, the shoe fetish killer back in the 70s.
Okay, but most people don't fetishize pubes, do they? So what
No.
the fuck good does sticking pubes to shoes? What does that highlight?
That is literally something I might have turned in for an art project in secondary school. It's that shit. It's literally a pair of pink high heels covered in super glue that he's thrown some hair
You
at.
may as well just take a picture of your ball bag and get over it. You know what I mean?
And
I
bet
do want
he
to give that
didn't
to my art teacher.
And I bet he didn't even.
You gave
make
it to
those
me.
shoes.
Yeah, it was like a Bluetooth thing back in the day when you just take a picture of your balls in the toilet, see whose Bluetooth was active, and then you just randomly send it.
I love that game.
Yeah, it was a good game. You just hear, who got it, and then you just hear a horrified gasp from across the pub as someone opens a picture from an anonymous Bluetooth sender. It's a pair of balls.
Don't touch the monkey's knackers.
That's good advice for that.
It's also good advice.
Oh, they're just disgusting shoes. Google this if you're
Yeah,
listening.
they look shit, and the fact that this has even got any space in the media at all slightly worries me.
Yeah.
Alright, should we move on?
Yeah.
Man has 7-inch plastic sex toy removed through his penis after instrument got stuck in his bladder. The unnamed patient, reportedly in his 30s, refused to see a doctor for more than 2 days after getting the toy lodged while engaging in urethral play.
First of all, ow. Second of all, how fucking deep do you want to push something inside yourself if it's gone into your bladder?
7 inches
7 inches? Jesus fucking
through his
Christ.
jap's eye. The doctors discovered a 7-inch plastic sex toy stuck in the bladder of a man who came to hospital when he started peeing blood.
No! He never was. Fucking hell. What point do you think that's a good idea?
Like
Jan-
Japs.
And do you know where he is? He's in Taiwan.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit of an Asian racism thing going on there, Mike.
Jean Bang Bing, head of
That's legitimately his name. That's not my being racist.
head of urology at Kaohsiung Veterans General Hospital
Genital hospital.
in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, said the plastic rod measures 20 centimetres long and 1 centimetre wide.
That is 7.87 inches long and 0.39 inches
Oh, Jesus.
wide.
Oh,
And
look at
we're
it.
looking at a picture of it here, and it's actually like anal beads for your urethra.
Oh,
urethra,
man.
however you say it.
What is wrong with a fucking wank? I've said this many times before on this podcast. All these people that end up fucking themselves up in weird masturbation rituals that they get into.
Just crack one off, man.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, why try and improve on perfection?
Yeah.
Oh, he deserves everything he gets. So what, is he just completely wrecked now? Is it going to reseal back up?
I imagine it'll heal.
He's got the widest piss streak
I was
in
going to say,
Taiwan
when he pisses, does it look like a fucking fireman's hose?
He has been recruited to the Taiwanese fire service, yeah.
Giant hole in the end of his
I just can't imagine it being pleasurable. Just, do you know what I mean?
That
1
hand
inch,
action you just
yeah,
I
1
imagined
inch,
it, I felt it.
1 inch in, you're thinking,
Oh.
oh,
An inch, Mike!
This is 7 inches, it was in his bladder.
A millimetre in and I'd be pretty freaked out.
He went 1 inch in, oh, well, keep going further, keep going. What the fuck?
Got to his
I think it's
bladder.
fair to say that if he's bought himself a 7-inch toy to shove down his penis, it's probably not the first time he's done it and he's been building up to it.
Oh, man.
I don't want to think about it.
I hate this guy.
The hospital said it had received similar cases in the past with patient items such as ballpoint pens and cables up their penises. Others have also been admitted with golf balls and light bulbs stuck up their anuses, the hospital added.
Wow. Do you know what? I'd like to think I'm like open-minded.
Hole in one, was it?
Oh! Is that the king of puns for so far?
Definitely. Well, I like to think that I'm fairly open-minded and, experienced in the world, but I read some of these stories and compared to these people, I'm a fucking Muslim. Don't fucking...
You mean you're...
I'm religiously strict. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sexually promiscuous. Moving on!
You're an Amish guy.
Quick! Yeah. That's better.
You're Amish.
Amish. Please forgive me.
Okay, last one.
Oh my god, we're going to have a fucking fat war against us by the end of this.
Well, you've already been kicked out of the Flat Earth Society, so...
Yeah.
What regular Joes think about the one-armed robot baristas invading San Francisco?
It's going to be a battle between hipster baristas and robot coffee servers, and I know who my fucking money's on, and it ain't the fucking hipsters. Even if he's only got one arm, he could definitely beat up a bloke in a scarf.
Yeah.
In summer. You know what I mean.
Yeah, shitty ripped jeans,
And
a little bit of a
Edwardian
beard.
moustache. Fuck off. So what? Sorry, let's do the actual story. Let's went on a hipster rant.
A local startup called Cafe X started rolling out robotic baristas that dole out lattes and cappuccinos with mechanical flourishes.
Ooh. What's a mechanical flourish though? That's what I want to know.
It squirts WD-40 on the top.
Cafe X now has 3 robots operating behind glass cases in downtown San Francisco, 2 in shopping-heavy areas and 1 in the middle of the financial district. You can order a drink in advance through a smartphone app or just walk up to one of its locations and do so on a touchscreen.
Wow.
So future boys,
There you go. Coffee from a robot arm.
the robot arm brings a cup to and from a machine that actually makes the coffee or pulls cups of cold brew from a tap. When you enter a numerical code on a touchscreen in front of the robot's cage, it places your drink on a platform so it can be lowered into a slot, kind of like a prize in a claw machine at an arcade.
Wow. So there you go. There's the future. Robots all making your coffee, then taking over the world.
Sounds good to me. No, not the taking over the world bit. The coffee bit's fine, I don't mind that. 'Cause you see,
I can think of better uses for that arm.
well, you know...
I don't know, man.
Again,
It's got a pincer
It
on
will
the end.
remove your foreskin, like the fore and back skin. It'll rip the whole sheath of skin off your cock.
Pour boiling coffee over it. This isn't what I ordered.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was exactly what you ordered.
Oh,
But how long till that arm is operating in like some weird robot brothel for hand jobs? My craze is a valid point.
it's probably already happening in Japan somewhere.
Yeah, it probably is.
And the robot's dressed as a schoolgirl.
The arm's got a little gingham dress thing going on with
And
it.
it's painted to look like a tentacle.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Japan?
Yeah. But even so, yeah, so that's
Well, people complain, you know, like
This is almost hypnotic watching it.
It is, you know, like self-service checkouts and stuff like that. People say that that's taking away jobs from people, which I suppose it is, but I don't go to McDonald's very much anymore. I try not to, but when I do, I love using those touchscreen things because you can't fuck your... If you fuck... something wrong with the order, it's your fucking fault. The machine's not going to misunderstand you. You press big pictures of what you want. Burger! Chips!
It's got to be made simple, let's face it.
Yeah, and you use your card so you're not handling money. It gives you a little receipt. You stand there and you wait and you get your food. That's the best way to do it.
Where are all these workers going, Gaz?
I don't give a fuck.
He's getting his burger quicker, man.
Yeah, as long as I still got a job and I can afford a burger, you know. If I was a McDonald's worker, I wouldn't be worried about the machines. I'd have much bigger worries if I was working in McDonald's. I mean,
why am I working in McDonald's?
Yeah, I'm 35.
You could be a manager. They're on decent money,
unless I'm the owner of the franchise or at least the manager. No 35-year-old has got any business behind a McDonald's counter.
It's true.
I apologise.
It is just needy teens.
I would if it had one of those R's behind it.
We know it. Mike's offering to. Oh, I'll do overtime overnight.
Oh man, that special sauce.
I don't want Mike's special.
Exactly. That's what it's going to end up with.
But isn't
I made all these Big Macs up because of me reheated.
But we're looking at it, and okay, it's cool. It's a robot arm. But isn't this basically a fancy vending machine?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I buy coffee from machines all the fucking time. I don't know why this is a news story necessarily.
And you know it's going to break down.
Well, someone's going to vandalise it.
Yeah,
or,
steal it.
As we've established already, probably try to sexualise it in some fashion. You know? Who am I trying to get? I'd let it wank me off.
Or if you're like me and you're the future head of the human resistance against the machines, you'll just smash it to pieces to give us a few more months to get ready for it.
Or you could reprogram it as a good barista that goes back in time to save. I don't know. You'd be so pissed off if that's what turned up to save you. What the fuck?
You remember the talkie toaster from Red Dwarf showing up to save you?
Would you like any toast?
Yeah, we have to go now, but before we do, would you like any toast?
We could send it back in time just to crush Hitler's skull.
As a baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, it'll save a lot of lives.
Something else will happen, man.
Yeah,
Even worse. Like
yeah.
the Russians will just sweep across Europe instead. Something like that. I mean, did you play Command and Conquer Red Alert?
I haven't, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like everybody always goes back in time and they want to kill Hitler. They don't want to actually talk to him and try and change his mind. It's just kill him.
Why did you talk someone out of conquering Europe, Mike?
Well, you're from the future.
Yeah, but you think he gives a fuck at that point?
You know what's going to happen to
you'd
him.
be quite impressed by the DeLorean and the trail of fire.
Yeah, but then he catches DeLorean, but you know, the Nazis have got time-travelling DeLoreans.
And you can tell him about his wedding day, where he gets married, he has a slice of cake, sip of champagne, and then
gives up on politics.
Kills himself, and the gardener burns his body in the yard.
At least he had a wife, though. You know what I mean? Even Hitler could find one person that was like, "No, he's so charming."
I think it was probably more the fact that he was a ruler of Germany.
I think she was under duress.
Yeah, I don't think she was allowed to leave.
I suppose most dictators' other halves are sort of kind of under duress by their nature.
Most of the dictators would have like a harem, wouldn't they? I know I would if I was a dictator.
Mate, I'd have one if I was the manager
wives.
of Peterborough United. No, I'm joking.
I'd have like 20 wives if I was a dictator.
I think 20 wives sounds like more fun than it is.
Well, I'm willing to test that theory.
Well, yeah, I think 20 mistresses might be.
No, I think the juggling you got to do.
Well, say 20 wives. How have you got?
Yeah, well, you just they go on at sea, just pop round, work on a rota for the month, whatever.
I couldn't do it.
Oh
So
yeah, because you're
a
man of commitment now.
Yeah.
Gone is the drug-addled lunatic. And here we are with a sensible family man.
No, I'm still a fucking
Makes
idiot.
you fucking sick.
Betraying his principles.
I'm still an idiot. I just do less class A drugs. As in none. Love you.
And you've even done the family man folding your leg thing. That's posing for the fucking portrait there. That's posing for the Christmas family photo.
Oh, God, we're going to have to come, have we?
In our matching jackets.
We're going to get a fucking Christmas card off
Oh,
him.
Jesus.
You're mocking me for being happy. Fuck you.
Yeah, we are. But it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
You gone from, bitterly depressed, doing sex magic, to
That's
virtually married, trying to start a cult.
Hey, what can I say? Sex magic. It works. I willed all this into being.
Right.
Well, I did. I followed what he said. Auto sex magic works as well as sex magic, and I tried to think of a hot blonde every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Along came a hot blonde.
Maybe it's coincidence that you're in that pub at that night.
No. Definitely sex magic. Definitely metaphysical. My thoughts affecting space,
The
time,
cosmos.
and yeah,
All right.
it's possible.
Well, it's Mr. Crowley, innit? I've got
Exactly.
a bit of a soft spot for Mr. Crowley and his deplorable ways.
Try it. Wank yourself into a mansion.
Don't just break into a mansion and wank yourself off, though. That's completely different. And never snort cocaine out of a goat's anus.
Well, unless you want to. And I forgot what I was going to say. I was put off by the image of cocaine in the anus. So anyway, yeah, was that the last news story?
Is that the last news? So we're going to call that a cut for the live thing. So thanks for listening to the live episode.
We'll say goodbye
live segment.
to Facebook.
Yeah.
Because now, just to give you an entice you into what the main bit is, I have a dossier here of how I'm going to convince Ben that Princess Diana was assassinated. So, yeah.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned, it'll be out in a couple of weeks. And like we said earlier, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, what else? Player.fm, there's loads. Just Google it.
Basically, listening, you also get to hear all Gaz's arguments fall apart against my incontrivable logic. Incontrivable logic.
He's got no proof. So
Neither of you.
Yes, I have. I printed things out. There's a fucking diagram in the middle of this.
And you even did a little college, little red thing
Look
going
at
all
this
together.
for professionalism. There's a fucking diagram, Ben. A diagram.
It looks like something from the sun.
It was the Daily Mirror.
Oh.
So, but it's a fucking diagram. So that's actual physical. And I've made fucking notes. Look how seriously I've took this.
Well,
Actual journalism.
Yeah, I've been investigating all weekend.
and I brought along my mascot Agent Scully
Good
on the
stuff.
pentagram just in case she tries to get in contact with us because apparently, according to the Daily Mail, she's got a fucking opinion on everything beyond the grave.
Well, she's an opinionated lady. So, yes, if you've been watching and if you watch later on, thank you.
She likes some dick too. Let's not forget that.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye. And
Don't join a cult.
unless it's mine.
Don't drink the Flavour Aid, even if it's Gaz's.
www.lulu.com/spotlight/mindfuck. That is how to join my cult. It costs £2.50, which I think is a fair price. So yeah,
You'll end up
see you
in
soon.
a compound drinking Flavour Aid.
No. Join us, download us, subscribe us, follow us, like the Facebook page, all that stuff. Please, thank you. If you have been, bye.
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 Fairly well.
I have to press a button.
And we're back, and we're off Facebook now. You missed your chance. Go and check it out. Might still be up. Will it still be up?
They'll be listening to this in the future.
Oh shit, I've just created my own time paradox.
So they're not idiots for not being able to watch it live.
Oh man.
They can't travel backwards.
I
But
just,
yes,
I
it
just
will still
created
be-
my own paradox.
It will be on the page.
We've been simultaneously, we're in the future, but we just recorded the present.
In the future. But yeah.
But we're in the present, but we recorded the future.
You see my silly face, but I think we should, like we were saying a minute ago, Ben, convince Mike that we'd put it over there and you could see us in all our glory.
For at least 30 minutes.
Because we are three fine-looking gentlemen.
And I promised to keep my dick in my pants.
Please. So,
Well, it's a fine penis.
Well, that is subjective. Entirely.
Well,
On to Princess Diana.
she likes a
Saint
fine
Diana.
penis.
She did.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah. So
Catchphrase of the show.
we're talking about the death of Princess Diana.
Actually, where were you when this happened? We were 14. Mike, you'd have been
14.
15. You're a bit older than us, aren't you?
Yeah.
So 14 years old. I was awoken Sunday morning by my mother, who's not a royalist in the slightest. At about 8:30 on a Sunday morning at 14. You can imagine I wasn't too happy. And told me that Princess Diana had died, then proceeded to sit on my bed and watch my bedroom TV while keeping me awake about a woman who I knew very little about and cared even less about at the time. We went through her life and what she'd done, and I remember it being the most boring day I've ever had.
The radio was just...
Radio was just panpipe music and people ringing in to share their experiences. And one always sticks with me, actually. There's some woman rang in tears, in floods of tears, and the guy says, "Did you ever meet her?" And she went, "No." And this is how it affected people in Britain.
Yeah,
Lots of people went out of their minds in grief.
She touched a lot of people.
And penises. Sorry.
Allegedly.
Well, yeah, I was awoken by my mother too. Again, I wouldn't call her a royalist, but she's one of them sort of casual royal fans, if you know what I mean. She's of that.
Weddings, funerals.
Yeah.
Vomits.
She's an armchair royalist.
Ritual sacrifices.
Satan worshipping. Right. Yeah, she came in the room in floods of tears and said, "I'll never forget this as long as I live. Diana's dead. Diana's dead." And I started doing a roll call in my mind. I was going, Auntie Brenda, Auntie Elsie, Auntie Jenny. Have I got shit? There must be an Auntie Diana I don't know about. I said, "Oh man," and I'm like, "Who's Diana?" And then she's like, "Princess Diana," and I was like, "What the?" I didn't say that out loud, but I was just like, even at age 14, I remember clearly thinking, well, why the fuck would I care?
Yes.
And why are you crying over a stranger? I had
this
concept of
it's
it. I was
creepy. This is exactly the same as I had.
we didn't know it.
Same experience. Mother coming in the morning. Although I had been up late watching the news at night.
Yeah.
That's what Mike did as a 14-year-old. He stayed up late and watched the news. Is that code for something else?
Well, yeah, I was probably watching porn and then a news bulletin came on.
Oh God, imagine if being like you got there was a channel on
You
cable.
watch that late night Channel
Yeah,
5
Channel 5 stuff. You know, get a nice rhythm going. All of a sudden, news bulletin. Oh, Princess Diana's been in a crash. Oh, that's... my boner's gone right down now.
Or did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So...
Did that ignite a lifelong love for car wreck porn?
Oh,
I bet it exists. I bet it exists.
I bet it does.
There's that film's about that, isn't it?
Oh, Crash, yeah,
I've
it
never
was
watched
actually.
it,
Yeah,
but-
no, neither did I, but
I'm sure it's about
it was
that.
about getting sexual release from crashing cars, I'm sure it was.
Mm.
And I've just crossed my legs again, I realise, and before I'm ridiculed,
Because you're
Nothing
taking
to
your
do
family Christmas photo
nothing to
pose.
do with my girlfriend. It's comfortable.
Yeah, but that's not how. I mean, I cross my legs. Do I do that? I cross my legs the man way, not the posing with pipe and slippers way.
That's because you're not as intellectually
Sophisticated.
as I. I think I used I in the correct
You look as
way.
with your leg crossed like that. You look as intellectually sophisticated as Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, but you know. my
He's a lot
girlfriend's
more
hot,
intellectual
so-
than you.
I was actually just referring to the campness.
Cheers, mate. I don't care about
Well, all of us, to be fair, he was an intelligent bloke.
Yeah. I did like his smoking jacket look. Isn't
The
it
trouble
weird?
is, he was just a whoopsie.
No, hang on, that was the Blackadder thing. Oh, big
Yeah.
butch bonking Oscar, father of 19 children and numerous mistresses. And what was the lawyer's name? It's the episode where Blackadder's going to get shot and he's hired
Yeah.
the best lawyer in London who basically had this sex-crazed child fathering individual Oscar Wilde sent down for being a whoopsie. He's that good a lawyer.
That is essentially what happened to Oscar Wilde, isn't it? He
Yeah,
died in the
it's
streets.
disgusting.
It was pretty fucked up.
Weird how Stephen Fry looks a lot like
He played him.
I know he did play him, but He also looks a lot like he did when he was younger, certainly.
You say Stephen Fry's going to die penniless in the streets.
I hope not. I like Stephen
Fry.
Fry.
You know, QI is one of my favourite things in the world.
In all fairness,
He's going to have to choose his side when the revolution comes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, he'll be on our side, I think Stephen will. I think.
Yeah. Is he a reptile?
Quite possibly.
He went to,
He did, but
all
his
those fine schools.
wasn't his grandfather Hungarian or Yugoslavian or something like that? So they were like immigrants in a way. So
His grandfather was the king of Albania.
no.
Yeah. Shit you not.
Wow.
Actually, he turned it down, but he got offered the king of Albania.
And why didn't he take it?
Where the fuck is Albania?
Oh, it's like next. You know where Italy is? So
Okay, yeah.
And then you just sort of go round the coast a little bit. Albania's down that way.
Above Greece, innit?
Okay.
Yeah, above Greece, down the side a bit.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Geography with Ben.
King Zog had abdicated
Yeah, that's
Right.
right. Yeah, he's the last
Zog.
one. And King
King
Zog,
Zog.
genuinely King Zog.
of Albania.
Kneel before Zog.
And Fry's grandfather, who was the England cricket captain, wasn't he? Played professional football, won the FA Cup and stuff. And he was also offered the king of Albania.
It's not a bad biography though, is it? Turn down, put that on your CV. Yeah, I turned down the kingship of Albania.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on my next CV.
So Albanian, they're like massive fans of like, I don't know.
At the minute, stealing
Albion.
cars and having organised crime.
West Bromwich Albion? I don't know. Are they big there? Albanian?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Sorry, I'm just being stupid. Moving on, you can probably cut that bit. That was the worst joke I've ever made. Let's talk about
Diana.
Diana.
You only call us Saint Diana if you're a Daily Mail reader.
Listen, I have watched almost 10 hours of documentary.
Jesus
in this
Christ,
weekend.
Saint
Me and Gaz
of
have fallen in
sweet-
love. haven't
Right,
we?
yes, and
I
I'm
admit
going
you-
to admit right up front, as a child it was lost on me and I didn't give a fuck, or even as a youth, young man, teenager, didn't give a shit about Diana. Maybe it's my age.
Yeah, the only thing I remember is them landmine things,
Mm.
which was pictures with them,
Yeah,
and
that's a famous photo.
obviously the funeral. That's all I remember really
Yeah.
of it.
You
I was
said
never-
minefield. Can I drop in a Frankie Boyle joke?
Okay, if you must.
If you wanted to remember Diana's life, you'd basically just organise a gangbang in a minefield.
Okay.
Because she had a lot of gangbang, a lot of sex, and she went on about
Or
mines.
should we go through about what Diana did and...
Yeah.
How dare you? We were trying to eulogise her in a nice way and talk about how we've fallen in love with her a little bit.
She was
Mike
a
and I.
good-looking woman.
It's not
It wasn't
that.
just that. It
It's
wasn't
the way
just
she
that.
talked,
Yeah.
the way, her attitude. She's hot as hell, which didn't hurt.
Yeah.
That voice, man.
Like a bit of posh, do you?
I do. Who doesn't?
Is that where you're crossing your legs?
Posh women have working vaginas. This is basically my only. Sorry if you're listening, darling. I'm going to stop that thought before it goes into
Let's get to
fucking Diana.
Let's
Jesus
get on to what
Christ.
Diana did. Anyway, yeah, for you two lose
Okay,
it
this
completely,
is-
start jacking
She
off.
is lovely.
This is from the Diana Legacy. I got this from .com or something like
Ah,
that.
Something like that.
Sounds like a cult.
Throughout her life, Diana devoted herself to serving others, especially those without a voice. She was president or patron of over 100 charities as part of her royal duties, many of which did work on behalf of homeless and disabled people, children and people with HIV and AIDS. In 1984, she became president of Barnardo's, a British charity which helps the most vulnerable children and young people transform their lives and fulfil their potential.
And if you work for them, you can go and have unprotected sex with third world prostitutes. That was Bernardo's, wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was Oxfam.
Oh, maybe an Oxfam, yeah. Sorry, Bernardo's. Sorry.
Holy fuck.
In 1987...
What? It happened. He's got the charity wrong. They're all the same.
Come on.
Shall I go on?
Yes, please, come on.
In 1987, at the age of 26, Diana was photographed shaking the hand of an AIDS patient, and even more significantly, without gloves. It may be hard to believe now, but this simple gesture was groundbreaking to the stigma that was at the time attached to AIDS.
Although Dr. Meg has told her that you can't actually catch it like that and it's just a myth. So she knew she was perfectly safe, but she did it as a photo op. There you go.
No one else was doing it.
The point
Cynical Ben.
But the point was...
It broke through stereotypes, didn't it?
To show everyone else. Well, if the princess is willing to do it,
Yeah.
it must be alright. She's not going to get bad advice, is he? No one's going to say to her, I don't know, Your Highness, you might get it.
There's only one princess, Gaz. That's Leia.
Oh, God, she's dead as well, so... Yeah, so I think...
During its outbreak in the 1980s, no one would touch someone afflicted with the disease or even be in the same room as them for fear of being infected. Of course, this belief was incorrect, and with one simple act of holding a patient's hand, Diana began a conversation, educated the world about compassion, love and understanding, all while breaking down the stigma attached to the disease and its sufferers.
And she had a fantastic
Rack.
set of... That is literally what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Well, that is what I was going to say. It's definitely one of the things I'm shameful to admit. One of the things that kept cropping up as I watched the 10 hours of Diana documentaries this weekend was, fuck me. Yeah.
You watched 10 hours of Diana documentaries.
I did as well. It was addictive.
Maybe that's
I
maybe
watched
that's 10,
one.
maybe 8.
I watched that one you sent me, and then read a load of articles and took notes. And that one you sent me infuriated me that much I couldn't watch another because every point. We'll get to it.
You only hate the documentary because it was made by Lily Allen's dad.
Yeah, we'll
if
get
it was made by someone called...
Well, for a start, it had fucking UB40 in it. Doing some...
Well, you know.
Not impressed. I felt like I was being reggae baited again. Like Gaz has watched this already. He knows UB40 in this. He's going to tell me to watch it.
They washed over
I
me.
saw it and I knew as soon as he came on that's going to piss Ben off. and I elected not to tell him. I was waiting for the response and it came.
Did you see the message on Saturday night? Fucking UB40 in this, twat.
And I chuckled to myself.
I was sat there watching with the missus and I was like, fucking UB40.
What did she think of it, incidentally?
Not the same as me, although I was throwing in my 2 pence because it was spouting some stuff that I knew was to be bollocks. So
yeah. Anyway, we'll get on to that in a bit.
Yeah.
In February 1992, the princess visited Mother Teresa's hospice for the sick and dying in Calcutta.
Another person who was a fucking fake, but never mind. Mother Teresa was not as good as they made out. Telling you.
Well,
she
did.
I thought you meant the person she visited with. The sick and dying
I imagine she's done more than you for the sick and dying, Ben.
Well, that's an episode, Mother Teresa, the Mother Teresa fucking thing where she wasn't a saint at all. But yes, okay, sorry.
Anyway.
We're not saying Diana was a saint. We're saying she was pretty fucking awesome and hot. And
she didn't have to do this, you know.
Self-promotion.
Yeah. You know what I mean? She decided to do this. She wanted to do this.
She carried on doing it after she left them.
She visited every one of the 50 patients there who were close to death. In Rome shortly afterwards and later in London and New York, she met Mother Teresa and the two formed a strong personal connection. After 1996, Diana continued to work as either patron or president for Centrepoint, the English National Ballet, Leprosy Mission, the National AIDS Trust, Hospital for Sick Children, Great Ormond Street and the Royal Marsden Hospital.
Imagine lepers doing ballet.
Sorry. I'd pay to watch that.
They try to do that thing where they got their tippy toes and their ankles just snap up.
Toes just flat on their face.
They do the lift and his arms just break. For the catch, his arms break.
Bits of leprosy infected flesh splatter in the front row. It's like a gamble, really. They didn't go to that one.
Oh, man.
In the year before she died, Diana tirelessly campaigned to ban the manufacture and use of landmines.
That's an interesting point, though. Actually, the landmines thing. It's a motive to some other people who may have an interest in her cessation of life.
This is something that was new to me over this weekend that I'd never thought about before. Was that she did have so much power. She was powerful enough to actually make changes and get enough attention on this. Mm-hmm. I mean, if she hadn't died...
A lot of our manufacturers didn't like that.
Yeah, well, wasn't the president apparently she'd got him to agree he was going to sign
Clinton,
something,
yeah.
but he didn't.
Yeah, he said, I'll sign it, and then after...
Then she died.
Then she was involved in the accident.
And then he didn't sign it.
And then he didn't sign it, and he was the only one not to sign it.
Because he's a cunt.
If she was alive, do you think he would have signed it?
Well, he would have had to, because he publicly said he was going to, wouldn't he? So he maybe would have had to.
Well, he did anyway.
It was Clinton, wasn't it? Bill Clinton. And let's face it, I'd have used a cigar.
So, now this is something I regret. I should have researched more, but I didn't have time. Is the country she was going to with these landmines? What was it?
I think it was Angola.
I've got it here. Photos of Diana walking across a live minefield in Angola.
Hey, I was right.
And talking
That's
to...
weird. We were talking about that a minute ago, that country.
I don't think so.
Maybe off the air.
Oh, Albania.
Albania, yeah.
And talking to the local people was seen all over the world. Many people don't know, but the press missed the first time she walked through the minefield, and Diana had to do it again so they could capture it on film. Diana was once again credited with being an international influence as a year after her death, the Ottawa Treaty was signed to internationally ban the use of landmines by 161 member states.
So, I just think it's mad that, like, this little country, because they were trying to get independence from someone when there had been a war.
I think there'd been a war, and it had more to do with they laid so many mines that kids were just literally walking off the road and getting their leg blown off.
Oh my god.
Horrific. Yeah.
So good on her. And should we just say a little of how, on this night, how she got to... Because throughout all this, doing this good stuff, charity stuff, in her personal life, she went from the chosen bride...
The chosen one, really. She'll be the queen one day. She'll be queen one day, or queen consort
because
one day.
Because she was, you know, when Prince Charles of Wales... met her, she was a 16-year-old virgin. She was still a virgin when he married her. That was apparently quite important.
Of course, it is your monarchy. You have that. That's...
And I did also hear another sort of more cynical reason is because no ex-boyfriends, nobody turning up in the press with any salacious stories or anything. But yeah, poor young girl. I mean, she was from... She was posh. She was from high society.
Yeah, they Earl of Spencer, was it?
Earl Spencer. They go back to the Normans. They are landed, wealthy aristocrats.
She is from good stock, essentially.
Yeah. But she didn't come from a happy home, did she?
No, she wasn't happy as a child.
Her mother left when she was quite young.
And she'd seen her dad hit her mum.
Yeah, and her dad didn't explain to her where she'd gone.
And it fucked her up. And, so she's... Because that's what made me sad last night, and the last one I watched is that I didn't realise it's like, man, so she was unhappy as a child, didn't feel like she fit in as a teenager, and then 19, the fucking prince turns up and says, hey, I'm going to bloody marry you.
16?
Well, yeah, he turned up when she was 16, but didn't marry. I think she was 19 when he married her.
He'd have been in his mid-20s?
He was 35.
Really?
I think, or 30.
Yeah, he was
definitely 30 when she was 16.
Wow.
So... And I was thinking about that, I was like, that is so like... Because my best friend's got a 16-year-old daughter, imagine if, you know, I'm 35, I was like, it's so wrong. I was like, oh, I'm going to marry her, you know, a couple of years, he'd be like, poof, he would drop the Swede on me quite rightly. You know,
but you're not the Prince of Wales.
But that's the thing in these high society, you know...
Because they wanted a foot in the door.
Yeah.
They wanted their... the father of the family would have wanted his grandson to be the King of England. That's what it boils down to with those people. It's your crest gets put sewn into the royal family crest. Your quarter.
Yeah.
He's on his own personal crest. He's hard with the Windsors and your whatever your. That's what it matters to them people.
George Carlin said, it's a big club and we ain't in it.
That's it. It's a big club. Look at my crest. Look, I'm the king. He's the grandfather's a bit legacy. That's what he's thinking about. Game of Thrones sums up when Tywin Lannister, you haven't seen it, guys. He says, "I'll create a dynasty that lasts 1,000 years." That's what matters to them people. It's how they're remembered, and their name goes down in history as being
And obviously, the higher you get up, the more wealth. That's another thing.
Well, also David Icke told me that one of the other reasons she was chosen.
Did he specifically tell you?
Yes, but he told me personally because we're close personal friends, man. She was also chosen because she was blonde hair and blue eyed, and they like that, don't they? A bit Aryan looking. I bet Philip approved.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
The original name for the Windsors?
That's
Saxe-Coburg Goethe.
it. Saxe-Coburg, yeah. So Saxe-Coburg.
That's it.
So, yeah.
He probably definitely proved before he found out she was a human.
And of course,
wouldn't
Philip
play ball.
was friends with the Nazis, wasn't he?
Oh, he certainly was, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to take that with a pinch of salt, which didn't explain in that documentary. That he was Greek aristocratic royal family. The Nazis conquered Greece. You know, he did serve in the Royal Navy in World War II. He managed to get out.
Yeah, but
Didn't tell you that in the documentary.
But the Greek,
much, did it?
the rich and the Greek from Greece.
Yeah, well, you have to play ball. You're living in an occupied state. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not a racist.
He said a lot of racist things.
He has, and I'm not saying there isn't that undercurrent in the royal family. But
yeah,
you're not. You know,
well,
your life's on a thread every day because you're a member of the ruling class and the Nazis are in charge.
To be honest,
do you play ball or not?
Well, you went to funerals and went to their weddings and things.
You're
like
going to that funeral. You're going to that wedding. Yeah, I'm not.
You're defending the Nazis.
I'm not defending someone whose life is literally ruled by them. You will do that. We need a
So it's
member of
okay
the
for
Greek
the Vichy French then?
No, it was. No,
It's different there, is it?
No.
Different there. They should have got done along with the Nazis, then, should they?
Well, do you know what fairness?
Fuck the resistance.
No, they did collaborate. Fuck 'em, yeah, the Vichy French did, yeah. But
Oh,
collaboration.
rebels.
But he did get
Double
out.
standards there.
But he did get out. He did join the Royal Navy and served in World War II in the Navy. So, you know, does that balance it out? I don't know. He is a twat. I'll give you that.
Okay.
He was
But
We can all agree on that.
But that documentary did not
What
show the whole
documentary? Should we
picture.
tell them what it was called? 'Cause we keep mentioning it.
It was Keith Allen's documentary.
Unlawful killing.
A very biased documentary, in my opinion.
Well, you know, that was its job.
It was actually, yeah.
So, Diana, she had an unhappy marriage, an unhappy childhood and an unhappy marriage. Banged out 2 kids in quick succession. Oh, and I'd just like to say, let's clear up one conspiracy at the start. The one about Prince Harry not being hers. All you've got to do...
Being Charles's.
Being Charles's, sorry, yeah. Look at her brother. That's where Harry's hair colour comes from.
Yeah, but he does.
He has a slight resemblance to Hewitt, I know that, and Hewitt even had to come out and make a fucking statement, didn't he? Saying, yes, there is a resemblance, but no, he's not my son. But anyway, I would like, because I was watching the documentary, Diana's brother, because I've seen him before, but I haven't thought about that person for fucking
he's the now Earl Spencer, isn't he?
Yeah, and he pops up in the documentaries, and I was like, oh, bloody hell, there's the hair colour of Harry. That's where it's that DNA,
but
it's in there.
Chances are the Hewitts are pretty... aristocracy. Chances are they're quite interbred, the aristocracy, aren't they?
I'm not sure.
I guarantee there's a few genes crossing over somewhere.
I think Hewitt's broke.
But he was an army
We've all got
officer.
6 fingers and play the banjo.
Well, he was an army officer, wasn't he, Hewitt, and quite posh. So I was assuming, you'd think he's certainly. There's probably a few genes crossing over somewhere, broke or not nowadays. So maybe, but I still think he looks a lot like a young Hewitt.
Yeah, I just don't think it's. I think Harry would have died in a car accident.
I think you know what Charles said when Harry was born.
I really do.
Helicopter crash.
I've heard one quote where Charles said, "Oh God, he's ginger" when he was born.
I saw them being interviewed outside the hospital, and I said, "What colour is his hair?" He said, "It's indeterminate." Oh. Sorry, just then my can exploded. I didn't just suddenly get excited by my own Prince Charles impression.
Is that lively red stripe?
It's indeterminate. Oh, God, good. I was just miming masturbation for the audio. Diana. She's had an unhappy marriage, and she was chosen because she was perfect to sire children. She wasn't chosen to be his love, to be his bride, and this quickly became apparent to her. Even though she was young, she soon realised he'd always had another love, right from the start.
Camilla Parker
Bowles.
Yes.
And I was interested, why could he not marry her? Because she already had a son. Was she just not suitable? And did he know that?
Well, he's married to her now.
Know that?
He's married, yeah, but I don't think it really matters too
why
much
didn't he do that in the first place? Why didn't he just marry her?
I know that she introduced herself to him.
Maybe because she looks like a horse, so they wanted better.
Well, he's been in
they wanted better
love
breeding stock.
So she introduced herself to him by saying that, by the way, my great grandmother was your so and so grandfather's mistress or something like that, and I think that captures his imagination. Then it's like, oh,
And plus, a kid between Charles and Camilla Horseface Balls.
Fuck me, yeah, what would that look like? Imagine if it was
Yeah.
a girl, poor lass.
maybe they were too related. Who knows?
We'd end up looking
Maybe.
like Dirk Coit.
But
Ooh,
So-
that's a pretty.
Diana got fucked over, basically. Right. And
There
we
were,
get- we-
there were three people in her marriage.
Yes,
She said, didn't
and
she? As a
we're
famous
getting
quote.
through it as quick as we can so we can get through to the actual weird shit or whatever.
Let's get through the event.
So
Actually,
to explain why is the Princess of Wales in a fucking hotel with Dodie fired. They divorced, and that's not really the done thing, you know, especially with all the attention
No.
that's been heaped on it and how it was supposed to be this fairy tale thing, and he's the most
Yeah.
eligible bachelor in the world.
Had a prince and princess divorced before?
I have no idea.
I don't
actually.
think they.
I wouldn't have
had.
imagined it.
No, and then because you.
I
had
mean,
the
Edward had to abdicate,
Yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
and then you
of-
have Prince Edward, Charles's brother, and Andrew. They both divorced after that.
after.
But yeah. So probably the first royal divorce. Yeah.
So she'd sired them her children that they were after, 2 boys, which I imagine they put
The
some
heir
value
and the
on.
spare. That
Apparently he did want a daughter though, Charles, for the second child. Because he'd got his son, hadn't he? He'd got
Yeah.
the son, so he might... But anyway, so they divorce, and Diana goes a bit... She has a few flings, I think it's fair to say, isn't it? There's a few names we could mention.
Will Carling.
Will Carling,
Yeah, England
James
rugby
Hewitt.
player.
Yeah, we should explain who he is. He was the
England
captain for nearly 10 years. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Just missed out on a World Cup win, didn't he? He retired the World Cup before or something like
Oh,
that.
did he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
James Hewitt, who we mentioned, also a bodyguard who we'll get into later. That's just rumours, that wasn't confirmed, I don't think. But anyway, and then along comes Dodie. And who the fuck is Dodie Al-Fayed?
The son of Mohammed Al Fayed, the owner of Harrods,
The former.
former owner of Harrods, and still chairman of Fulham Football Club.
Don't think so.
No, what is the
Sold
way
to an Indian, I think.
he put that bloody awful statue of Michael Jackson up because he was quite
Yeah.
pally with him, wasn't
Oh, that was terrible.
he? It was an awful statue. I think we mentioned it before actually
Yeah,
on
we
the
have talked about
maybe
it.
the Denver episode.
They
or
got,
Yeah.
they got a very
Denver.
unfortunate nickname for them.
What's that?
Their nickname is the Cottagers.
Yeah.
What? Oh, like seeking gay behaviour.
Is
It's
it
a bit of a
yeah, seeking gay behaviour, seeking homosexual behaviour in public toilets, isn't it? Carging, I think.
something like that.
So yeah, it's an unfortunate name as a football club. But you know, hey, it's the 21st century. They can do what they want.
Yeah, Shrewsbury used to play in the Gay Meadow.
That's true.
Very
And
true. They
yeah.
don't call it that anymore.
They
do
don't.
Called
I
the
know
new-
they've got a
called the new
stadium.
Meadow
Yeah,
now.
the new Meadow. Not gay at all. I wouldn't be surprised they called it the Hetero Meadow.
so unbelievably hetero meadow.
Nothing gay about this
Pictures
meadow
of
at
monster
all.
trucks on the billboards and stuff.
I bet the away
People firing
fans,
guns at half time. Look at us! Look how macho we are!
I bet the away fans had so much fun for years
Yeah.
with the name of that stadium. How many fights were started?
I tell you what, if you were playing for Shrewsbury, you wouldn't come out as a homosexual, would you?
Well, none of them have.
No,
No, but you know, there must have been a
None of
few.
them have yet.
Yeah, but there must have been a few.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and you wouldn't if you were thinking, oh, maybe I should come out. I do play for Shrewsbury, the gay medal, and get some stick for that, wouldn't
You
you?
would.
Oh, Mike,
It's sad to say, but you
Yeah.
would.
this
Yeah.
is quite random, but you're a Brian Clough fan, aren't you?
Mhm.
Well, I was listening to the Danny Baker show on Saturday, and he
Are you
played.
going to say something about Justin Fashanu?
Is that like the guy who does the impression?
No, go on, carry
Oh
on.
no! Well, he played a few seconds of a record, and I wish I'd have wrote it down. It was somebody who does a bang-on Brian Clough impression, singing AC/DC
Wow.
as Brian Clough talking.
Awesome.
Now there's a woman I know.
Oh, that would be awesome, wouldn't
It
it?
was amazing. I
Yeah.
have to Google that and link you to it.
He
so-
was a character,
Oh
wasn't
yeah, I like Mr. Clough.
Mhm.
So Diana, so they have the divorce.
She
Probably going to be
shags about a
frowned
bit.
upon.
allegedly.
Shagging about a bit. It's all in the press.
She gets stripped of her HRH at this point, her Royal
Okay.
Highness title.
And
She's technically not the Princess of Wales. I mean,
okay.
protocol demands she has to curtsy to her own sons at this point
Oh well.
when she meets them.
Well. So Dodie Al-Fayed. That's where we were.
Yeah.
He's a millionaire playboy. His dad is uber rich. It's fair to say. Or
Self-made
at the
man,
time,
yeah.
at the time was utterly rich. So he's quite an eligible bachelor himself, I would suppose. The son of a, was he a millionaire or billionaire?
Possibly billionaire.
Okay,
He bought
so-
Harrods and then...
And he had a flat on the
and he was
main
a
strip.
film producer as well.
Okay.
He did Chariots of Fire. He was a producer on that film.
Oh, awesome. So
he wanted to be a filmmaker.
yeah, and it's fair to say.
Didn't really have a career though.
Oh well, he's
Well, it was cut a bit
better one
short,
than
wasn't it?
So
I think Chariots
At this
of Fire was in
time-
the 80s. He had 10 years.
Diana was being, it's fair to say, utterly hounded
Oh,
by paparazzi and press, and Dodie and his money would have been a very welcoming option because he could provide
Security.
free, security, privacy. He was very eligible for her, if you know what I'm saying, at that time in her life. So they were on the yacht, weren't they? But I heard in one of the documentaries, just before the night of the accident, they were on that yacht, weren't they? And there's lots of photographs of her. That's where the pregnancy rumours come from.
Yeah.
She arranged for that photo shoot, apparently. She
Apparently,
told
yeah.
them to go there to take those photos. Now, what's that? Is that a fuck you to Charles?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's either that or there was some kind of deal like, how about we give you this
And then leave
for
you
an
the fuck
afternoon
alone.
and then you fuck off.
Right.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
We'll give you everything you want to see. I'll frolic in the sea. I'll wear my
Yeah.
swimsuit. He'll be shirtless. We'll
Yeah,
kiss.
but imagine at the time that the press was hounding. I
Oh,
mean,
they were.
they changed from
They were, but
Diana
because-
being the blue-eyed princess to being the demon.
Well, of course.
And one of the
yeah.
other things is the documentary.
Well, it wasn't so much the dean, so much it was selling papers. She was big.
Well, she was castigated, wasn't she?
She was. Then but she mitigated that with the charity work. So
she
Well,
which
perhaps,
she had
yeah.
to do really. And if you look at it, she had to rehabilitate her image. So
in the
charity work does that.
Diana, in her own words, oh shit, I've totally forgotten what I was going to say. Sorry, lads. I fell down a weed hole. Sorry, listener. It might come back.
We
But yeah,
think
so they're on the yacht.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pictures are taken, and then they go to the Ritz. We're getting
Yep.
to the evening now. So the Ritz in Paris, who his father owned this hotel.
He did.
right?
Yes. It's not bad.
And it's all on CCTV, which was released by Alf. No, what's his dad? Dodie's the son. What's his dad?
Mohammed.
He'd have a good podcast 'cause he's a bit of a conspiracy theory fucking
He
enthusiast.
does well. Certainly, yeah. Especially about this one. Let's put it that way.
Well, he
You
released.
can't
the,
blame him. It was
No.
his
Yeah,
son.
it's, unless it was an honour killing and he killed his son.
Yeah.
Muslims, they've been known to kill their daughters and in honour killings.
No, I don't think so for that one, and I'll explain
You
why when we
never
get
know,
to it.
though.
But I'll give you my logic on that, but I don't think it'll work.
Okay.
That-
But anyway, let's do what we know or what we're given as the official story. And I'll just say now, one thing I found annoying. I know I'm not exactly a fucking journalist or an investigator, but I read a lot of articles. I've got them all, most of them printed out here. There's fucking inconsistencies in the mainstream that anyone can see from just reading 3 or 4 articles. Anyone.
Yeah.
And I was getting frustrated with it. Was it 120 mile an hour or was it 65 mile an hour? Because I've got people saying both.
Well, I got 75.
Oh, there you
There
go.
we go. A lot of disinformation, though, wasn't there?
A lot going on. So they're in the hotel, right? And this is all on CCTV, which is released by her dad.
Dodie's dad.
Sorry, yes, Dodie's dad. And there's a bit of a kerfuffle because this guy Henri Paul, who will become important as the story, because we have to discuss him later.
Yeah.
He worked for, apparently, he was Ritz security, wasn't he? He wasn't Dodie's
Personal driver.
personal security or driver.
He wasn't a driver, was he?
No,
No,
that's the
because
thing.
drivers cannot drink for 10 hours before they're due on duty.
Well,
Royal drivers and
he was
celebrity drivers, let's say.
he was allegedly drunk. So,
Well, allegedly maybe mixing with pharmaceutical drugs, we'll see.
Henri Paul, he comes up with a plan because they want to get out of the Ritz. They've gone there to stay, but Dodie's got a flat 10 minutes up the road, and
They can outrun the paps.
well, Henri comes up with this plan, doesn't he? We'll send some decoy cars out the front, and we'll do one out the back.
Yep.
And you have literally got
And I'm okay to drive, I swear.
well, And you've literally got, we'll call her Princess Diana. I know technically she might not have been, but if I say Princess Diana, you know what I mean. You've got her, who at this point is probably the biggest celebrity on planet Earth, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Her boyfriend, Dodie.
Yep.
His bodyguard, Trevor
Reese,
Reese, that's it.
Shropshire boy, actually.
Yes, Oswald Street.
Yeah.
Living there now,
I
apparently.
couldn't. What happened to him after? Because I can't.
He
got a bit of I
He
couldn't.
kind of just vanished, didn't he? I mean,
Well,
he had a
no,
bit
no.
of an interview and a bit of a say on it, but then he just kind of vanished.
What did he say? Because I couldn't find anything about what he said.
He had some money troubles because he was fucking having to fight legal battles with Mohammed Al Fayed because he worked for him technically. He was employed by Mohammed Al Fayed to look after his son. He was it's a military term, a type of soldier beginning with
Paramilitary.
something like that.
He was
possibly.
ex-Special Forces. He was
Yes.
I think he was ex-SAS.
This was his first. Then he went into security. This
As
all
most of them
happened.
do.
You know, obviously this was horrible. There's some legal battles. So he wrote a book, and apparently earned about £1 million for this book. But the vast majority of that went on paying the legal fees for all these fucking court cases. Mohammed Al Fayed accuses this book of being written by the fucking government, basically, and as part of the official narrative because he was put in a medical coma after the accident, and he's got some very vague memories, but he tries to avoid. He is honest about basically, I don't know if they're dreams, memories, something that came from something someone said, but the two things he says: he thinks he saw a black motorcycle alongside, and he remembers a female voice shouting Dodie. That was probably Diana, to be honest, though. Anyway, face was smashed into 1,000 billion pieces. They reconstructed it using photographs and stuff.
Yeah, he was really. He was in a
He had a
coma for a
normal
long
job.
time.
He went back to Oswald Street, had a normal job for a few years, working in his friend's shop, apparently. Then got back, set up his own security thing, and got back into that. Went out to Iraq, made quite a bit of money, comes back, and now runs a security type of firm, but still lives in Oswald Street, up the road. So, we've got, what did we say? Diana, boyfriend Dodie, that guy,
Henri
the
Paul
bodyguard,
and Trevor Reese
and
Jones.
then Henri Paul. That is it. The four of them walk out onto the fucking Paris streets, right? This is a hell of a step down from royal fucking security.
Hustling at the back of a
detail,
hotel.
right? Yeah. Jump into this Mercedes, and I got quite a bit.
I
on
do
the
see the
Mercedes.
plan, though.
Yeah, I
You
get
know,
it, but it was I mean, I think that's risky business taking her out.
Maybe they just didn't have a big enough security detail to part the paps, and
Or maybe they wanted.
not, you know.
Maybe they wanted to get rid of the security detail so they could assassinate her.
Yeah.
But well, we'll see. I don't see Henry Paul's motivation in this, knowing that he's probably gonna.
Well, they then
That
jump
end well
into
for him.
a Mercedes limousine. The model number's in my notes somewhere, but it'll come up later because I got quite a bit on the car. Jump into the Merc. Henri Paul's driving. The bodyguard, Trevor. That's not his name, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, I'm such a stoner. Trevor's in the front passenger seat. You got Dodie behind the driver and Diana in the back. They drive off, get round the corner, get to the tunnel. We got the name of the tunnel. I can't see.
Alma.
That's it.
Alma Tunnel.
That's it.
Which has a bit of apparently a dodgy entrance to it. It's a dip and a curve.
Yeah. And they're being pursued, it's fair to say, we're not sure how closely by, but they're being pursued by paparazzi on mopeds. Mopeds, pretty nippy, but not as fast as Mercedes.
No.
Big, powerful Mercedes like that. So they go into the tunnel. One report says 120 mile an hour, which I don't believe, to be perfectly honest. Another, which I think is a lot more likely, 65 to 75. Either way, they go into the tunnel.
Yeah.
I also read that apparently he was already out of control at that point because of the difficult entrance, 75 miles an hour.
That's quick to be fair. And there's stuff about the car as well. I'm not sure how fit the car was, to be honest. It could have had problems. Even not
Apparently-
conspiracy problems.
No, but
just,
apparently when they found the crash, they looked at the seatbelt, didn't they? Diana's
it was-
seatbelt was tampered with.
well, we've got...
Yeah, it was broken.
Or she wasn't wearing it, it was smashed in the
No,
crash.
apparently it was.
She didn't put it on either way.
Yeah.
She didn't have it on, that much is definite.
Nobody in the car was actually wearing a seatbelt.
No.
And the bodyguard was actually questioned about that, and his answer why he wasn't wearing one, and he attested to this in the court. He said, he can't remember anything of that night, but one thing he could say for sure is because it is his training, is he wouldn't have put his seatbelt on.
No, in case he's trapped in the car.
And he needed to be free.
Yeah.
And
he'd have to draw a weapon.
One thing I can tell you with certainty is I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, because some people have said the belt was took off afterwards and things like that. Because if they crashed at 120, he doesn't live. Mercedes have said that. Mercedes have said 120 mile an hour, nobody is surviving in that vehicle. But he did. So that's why I honestly do think the 65 one that's reported to 75, somewhere in that range, is probably more likely. Either way, the official story is they clipped a white Fiat Uno.
Yeah. There was paint on the Mercedes, wasn't the white paint?
And shards of the brake light, which is how they were able to work out what model car it was.
That's great forensics.
It is, because there's no CCTV of this.
There isn't. I can tell you why there isn't.
Okay, we'll get to that. So it clips this Fiat. That's the official story, isn't it? That's the actual French police. It clips this white Fiat Uno.
Yep.
It then goes into a bit of a spin, hits the 13th pillar, twizzles round and comes to a stop, and everyone's fucked.
Oh yeah, that engine is through the back seat.
Dodie and Henri Paul are killed on the
instantly. Yeah.
We've talked about the bodyguard, and Princess Diana was alive.
Alive when found in a paparazzi by the last name of Rat.
Yes, and that Rommelled Rat.
Someone Rommelled Rat.
Yeah.
Took a picture of her as she lay there dying. I think the Channel 4 documentary showed those. He comes to a bit of flack about that because he hadn't been seen.
I've never seen him.
Maybe they didn't show him then.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Because they sent some of the photographers got out, didn't they, before they got arrested?
Yeah.
And they sold it to the Mirror, and was it the
royal
Sun?
family would have got a block on it immediately.
That's before she died, isn't it?
£300,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of his pictures, and they were like, she's alive, we can use these pictures.
Yeah.
But then, of course, when she died, they were like, we can't use it.
It was interesting, but in the documentary, the one we watched about the actual paparazzi, so you've got these newspaper bosses in England thinking, oh, it's just a car crash. The pictures have been sent.
Yeah.
Woohoo! It's going to be the greatest day ever. But then, a few hours later, not only did they get the news she's dead, but they literally say in that first news report on the BBC World Service, chased by paparazzi. Yeah. They blamed them in the first fucking report. So you've suddenly gone from seeing dollar signs in your eyes to these are the most toxic pictures in the world. I cannot touch this.
Completely agree. Yeah, absolutely. But remember, you can then claim the moral high ground and say, well, we were offered these pictures and we turned them down, and who's going to take the word of them?
I don't think they've got any fucking choice to turn them down at that point, isn't it? So,
but first of all, who the hell is taking that kind of shit? Because she is probably like blooded and bad.
No, she actually, apparently, because the next guy on the scene was an off-duty doctor who drove past, jumped out. You know, it wasn't him talking actually. One of the paparazzis who were arrested who were in that documentary said she looked like she'd been punched in the face, like black eyes. She wasn't a head exploded mess. The trauma was to a chest,
internal organs.
Yeah, she did have head injuries too as well.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It's not like she was.
No.
You know, a hole in her head or anything like.
But who's taking that?
I know, but I'm not going to judge. Well, I am judging them, I suppose. But maybe something takes over. Maybe the guy who did it was a little bit of a psychopath, or maybe something took over in his head. Like this is what I do. Do you know what I mean? I have to take this picture.
Well, she's alive. He can see that she's moving and alive, so it's okay to take the pictures, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, but call a fucking ambulance. I mean, for God's
sake.
sake.
I assume that, yeah.
And that doctor gets a bit. He puts a mask on her or something, doesn't he? A breathing
oxygen mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Then people start to turn up. Then a few more paps, which I find interesting. They turn up. The number I heard was 2 minutes later. They get to the tunnel. The paparazzi. So how intense was this fucking chase? Do you know what I mean? 2 minutes behind. Like I said, they're on little mopeds that are nippy round corners and things. But a fucking
what do they go about 40, 50 miles an hour?
Even a big one, I think
about 50
60 tops or 70.
Yeah.
But that Mercedes is going to accelerate so much quicker. And anyway,
it's still doing 75 through a major. Which thing is, I mean, cities are like very road-wise, they're congested. I mean, 75 going into that tunnel maybe, but I can't see it getting through from the Ritz out into the, off the main Paris grid that quickly.
Well,
that's why they drove mopeds, so they could get in and out of the traffic. You can't do that in a Mercedes limousine.
It's a pretty straightforward route, isn't it? I'm just looking for the... It's literally one right turn, one left turn, and then they did a big long straight to the entrance of the tunnel.
A straight through congested traffic, which they're not going to be able to manoeuvre that much.
I realise what you're saying. Like
the mopeds
bikes
are coming in and out. The car it's a bit. I guarantee that thing probably weighed 2 tons. It's not probably an armoured limousine.
Pretty late. No, mate. It's a fucking heap. This isn't. Again, remember, this isn't Royal Security providing this. That car was a pool car used by the Ritz to transport.
So they really weren't going in. Because I'd imagine that Dodie would have had a fucking decent limo. His dad's a billionaire.
No, this is the thing. I got a lot of stuff on this. That car was fucking a write-off that had been repaired. Right. There's also one report that it was originally stolen at one point. It was literally a pool car. That I've got an article I'll read you later on people that are testifying to the state it was in and that it shouldn't have been on the road again. Whether that plays into its performance driving wise, it probably definitely plays into the safety features when it actually did crash.
Yeah.
If it's been it's been writ off once and cobbled back together.
Yeah.
But essentially, this is, I think, an important point to look at is that she's gone from the world's best fucking security, which is probably MI5, MI6, whatever, something to do with looking after the royals.
Well, it's the
best
Scotland Yard close
Yeah.
protection,
The
trained by
best
special
of the
forces. Yeah,
best.
they're very good.
To a fucking hotel in Paris that has got a pool of cars that it uses for important guests. That just some random bloke that we don't. Well, he's not random, but we'll go into him later on, but he wasn't a professional driver. Let's say he wasn't an advanced driver. He's not, like the bodyguard probably would have had some advanced driving training. I don't know why, but he probably should have jumped in the seat. But Henri, for some reason, Dodie trusted him.
Well, he's head of the Ritz. Dad's employed him, isn't he? He's,
There you go, yeah.
He's probably done a lot of security for other people, big guests who stayed there. He has to be. He's the head of the Ritz security, isn't he?
That's it.
He's Worf, except not,
Well, he might
sober.
also be an MI5 agent.
MI6 agent,
sorry.
probably, yeah. Well,
possibly.
I don't see what his motivation is for doing that.
He got a lot of money in his bank account, didn't he?
That was weird.
Yeah, but why get the money?
Spread
Do they give him the money and then...
Do you know what
we'll get into it. We'll get into
his
it.
wages were as head of Ritz Security in 1997? 20 grand a
Wow,
year.
is that it?
So, why has he got 120 spread across 12 bank accounts? Was it 12 bank accounts? It was a lot, wasn't it? It was a shitload of bank accounts. But anyway,
massive tips from the very wealthy people living there.
gambler, possibly.
Gambling.
Or criminal, drug dealer.
See, I don't see the incentive of them saying, right, you drive. Why give him the money knowing that you're going to kill him? Do you get the money back in that scenario if you're MI6?
He might have been spying on Dodie.
Yeah, but then you're going to sacrifice him as a pawn at some point.
Yeah, but
game,
maybe
so
he's
why
going,
pay him that money?
Well, maybe it goes to his family. He accepts that.
And so he's got a suicide wish.
Maybe they've got him compromised. Right, we've got you having sex with an underage girl.
Yeah, well, you're taking a massive leap there.
I don't know. It's just I'm just saying.
He
I
did
am
have a
taking
moustache.
massive leap.
Well,
This is how these things happen, doesn't it? And then they've got leverage over this.
yeah, but you're still taking a massive leap.
And even though you know the risks, you're just going to go along with it because you don't want this exposed.
To be fair though, don't you think...
I'm taking a massive leap. I'm just saying it might be an explanation why.
Do you think possibly though that as British intelligence, this is the sort of hotel where the rich and the good of the world go to dine? Would it not be pertinent for you to have a man on the inside in places like that?
And if he is the head of security,
more
so the better.
Yeah. Just for spying reasons,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of conversations happening in that place.
I mean,
meetings, who's meeting who, who's whining and dining who. So, but we're getting off the actual timeline. So she's crashed in a tunnel.
Tunnel.
That's an entirely different tunnel. Yes, and people start to turn up. Emergency services start to turn up. Now, this is where one of the major conspiracies come in, because I've got the actual times here. 1:15 in the morning, it's confirmed Fayed and Paul have died. 1 hour later, Diana's ambulance leaves for hospital. An hour later, after arriving on the scene, She's already suffered a heart attack. That's at 1:25. At 1:55, the ambulance stops for 5 minutes so medics can inject adrenaline into her body. And then at 6 minutes past 2 in the morning, the ambulance arrives at, I'm not going to try and say the name, the hospital. She receives open heart massage for almost 2 hours, and then at 4 in the morning, on the dot, Prince Diana is declared dead. So, now
I've got
there's conspiracy and I
completely
know
different to that, I can tell you that much.
What have you got? See, there you go. This fucking... Each website reports it fucking differently.
Yeah, they do. Basically, what you've got to understand about French ambulances compared to ours is that they will
They're like
stabilise you. They're basically a rolling surgery.
Yeah, that's the term
surgical room.
Yeah.
They have effectively a doctor/surgeon, paramedic, and they will not move you until they think you're stable. Now, she'd already had a heart attack at this point.
Yeah.
He wasn't convinced her blood pressure was going to be up to moving her. The reason it took so long to get anywhere is because he was convinced that more movement wouldn't do her blood pressure any good. So they literally stuck to about 35 miles an hour. They got to the first hospital, no one there who could deal with what she needed. They didn't have
I
the
heard they
facilities.
didn't go to the other. They just went straight to the.
They
the
avoided. They went past 4 other hospitals
Yeah,
or something like that.
They didn't go there, and then realise that there's no one there. And then have to drive. That would be
But
ridiculous.
for some reason they weren't in contact with the base. But you can attribute to that to both of them being quite busy.
I'm sure there's somebody like the driver that might be free to talk.
Well, no, he's getting called into the
That's
back every
dodgy.
couple of minutes. Stop the car.
Listen, it's also at this point going to be starting to dawn and realise on these emergency services people that just who they're fucking dealing with. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just anybody. We've got the most famous woman in the fucking world here.
Yeah.
And I also heard that plays into somebody was sort of saying that your average Joe like you and me, they wouldn't have spent 2 hours massaging her heart and fighting and trying.
I've got a different timeline to you.
Come on then.
So 12:32 is that guy who turned up at the thing at the scene. Ambulance arrived at around 12:40. She was removed from the car at 1 a.m. So she must have been trapped in there somehow. She then went into cardiac arrest. Following external cardiopulmonary resuscitation, I assume that's the shock paddles.
Yeah, probably.
Her heart started beating again, and she was moved to the ambulance at 1:18. So for 20 minutes, they were struggling to get her back going. They departed the crash at 1:41. They arrived at the hospital at 2:06 a.m. A journey time of approximately 26 minutes. This included a stop at the Gare de Austerlitz, ordered by the doctor because of the drop in blood pressure and the necessity to deal with it. The ambulance was travelling slowly on his express instructions because of the blood pressure. He was concerned that with acceleration and deceleration wouldn't do it any good. They did pass a hospital. They transferred her to the final one they went to is the Petit Salpêtrière. Was taken by Dr. Mark Leger, who was on dispatch duty in the ambulance control centre that night in consultation with another doctor who was at the scene. The hospital I mentioned previously was the main reception centre for multiple trauma patients in Paris. The one they went to previously was not equipped to deal with the injuries Diana had sustained. While the other one is closer, there's another hotel that was closer.
Hospital.
Oh, sorry, hospital. But not equipped. It was not equipped with heart neurosurgical teams or teams trained to take patients with multiple injuries. So that's what I've got.
It's about 10 minutes difference.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
You can argue that people were fucking up because of the pressure that's on them. I mean, it's the most famous woman in the world, slowly dying in the back of the ambulance.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You can't risk it.
You're not going to spend that long working on fucking Joe blogs.
No.
But also, are they all completely freaking out because she was supposed to die on impact like everyone else? And she didn't.
As a great conspiracy, you then got to guarantee the ambulance crew is turning up are going to do exactly what you want them
Well,
to.
if you know where the accident's happening, you can do that, can't you?
You can be the
Well,
first on the
you
scene.
can be the first on the scene. I'll give you that. But this guy's an accredited French doctor. We've got his name. He's, we got the route he took. Everything was done. Apart from a few miscommunications, everything was done.
Yeah.
So this
reasonably
Sounds all above
routinely.
board.
But-
Doesn't
so-
mean that it is though.
This is all so far the official story.
Yeah.
So now she's dead, right?
Mm-hmm. Can we leave it there now? I gotta go for a piss, mate.
Yeah, man.
Sounds good to me.
It's a good idea because I am pretty
Sounds
good to go.
me.
We're back, so let's. That's the timeline of the events as we've gone through, and now we will go on to some of the more popular conspiracy theories about this. Do you want to start with the driver, or do you want to start with the Uno?
Well, I want to start with the official story. The official story is that the Mercedes goes into the tunnel. The Mercedes clips the Uno,
yeah.
not the other way around. The Mercedes clips the Uno, spins off, hits the 13th pillar. Ooh. Okay, comes to a stop, and this Uno apparently just drives on.
Yep.
So, you can look at that in a few ways. So, if the driver of the Uno was just a normal person doing nothing wrong, they got clipped, that car then went and lost control and hit a fucking pillar. They've got no reason not to stop. It wasn't their. It's not like they're trying to flee an accident they caused. Do you know what I mean? They didn't clip the Mercedes. Why did it just drive on? It must have either been somebody. It could have been somebody who just didn't want to get fucking caught up in that sort of thing. Who had a reason not to talk to the authorities, like a drug dealer, someone who didn't have insurance, somebody who didn't have a license, somebody who was also drunk. They don't know who was driving.
I can tell you who it was.
Who?
It was a Vietnamese immigrant called Levan Ta.
They've never found the Uno though.
Apparently, he involved in the thing. He resprayed it red. Didn't want to get caught up in the French legal system because it clipped the Fiat when he didn't stop, and his immigrant status wasn't probably fully legit. Apparently, Scotland Yard recognised this in 2006.
I've never heard that.
I
I heard that it was a French paparazzi owner.
yes.
And they found it on blocks outside his house, and it hadn't been driven for months.
Yeah, they tried blaming it on like
And
conspiracy
then a
theories.
few weeks later, he set himself on fire, didn't he?
Yeah, after shooting himself
Shot
in the head twice.
twice.
But I've also
That was wasn't that the guy who was who was claimed to be MI6?
Did he claim
Well,
that?
Mohammed Al Fayed's.
I can read you the article.
Well then,
Actually, I'm not going to agree to that source's veracity. So let's say we're going to agree to disagree on that.
what about the
It's
Vietnamese?
from the dailybeast.com, and I'm not sure how quite reliable that is, but it is an article about all the.
Well, the Daily Beast
It's
is
just-
quite a big paper in America.
Well, so
The
that's what they're
official
saying.
story is though,
But
isn't it, that
the
it
Daily
was never
Beast,
found.
I've always thought that's very satanic, isn't
I've
it?
never heard of it, to be honest. The
It's
Daily
very
Beast.
satanic,
Daily
isn't it?
Beast.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you call it the Daily Beast?
Why not?
You're starting a new newspaper, you call it Daily Beast.
Yeah, man.
Nah, man, there's something.
Well,
something
The
fishy
guy you're
about that.
talking about, Mike, the paparazzi guy, is called Adnan. Oh fuck me, Andanson. Where's his first name? But anyway, yeah. Some people thought he had a lot to do with it. Al Fayed claims it was him, but like Mike said, they found his Uno and it was in an unroadworthy condition, and it was on blocks basically. It had been for years. And apparently, though, his suicide, he had mentioned to close friends that he was probably going to kill himself because of, not Diana reasons, because of marital
Because
problems.
his Uno wasn't on
Reasons.
the road.
Yeah, he was mourning over the loss of his Uno. But I just find it strange.
That he shot himself twice in the head before setting himself
That's
on fire.
weird, but that happens a lot, we know.
Well, I read once, and the French coroner claimed that the so-called bullet wound was just a reaction of the high intense heat at some point.
Oh, well, there you go.
But can I tell you about
But
the
why
one
doesn't
that I
it-
found about the
I
Fiat
don't know.
Uno?
But why didn't it stop? That's what I
Well-
don't get. You don't know it's Diana that's just clipped you.
No.
They clipped you. Unless you're a dodgy fucker, It could have just been some geezer driving home from the bar, but then why didn't they find it? They did an insane operation in the city to find every fucking white Fiat Uno. Yeah, that's a weird one.
When someone commits a terrorist attack, they find the terrorists and everything.
Oh, before I forget, sorry Mike, you're right, yeah, they find it, don't they?
Yeah.
But I did hear a
There's
story.
normally a passport left somewhere.
I did hear a story, yeah. Putin's the most recent one.
Yeah.
But I did hear a theory that the French police found the Fiat Uno, found the owner, cleared him of any wrongdoing or anything, because they could tell from accident investigation that it was him that was clipped, maybe tapped him on the wrist for not stopping, and saved him from, kept his anonymity, basically, or hers.
Why would they do that though? I mean,
to give a guy a break, because come on, imagine being that guy.
He'd be killed. He'd be killed by...
God.
I mean, Gaz wants to join a cult. There is a cult of Diana, for fuck's sake. She's
Yeah.
got a fucking
His
shrine.
life
I'm
is
sorry,
over.
but if you...
He's getting his throat cut on fucking the...
This person
I'm
is the
telling you.
lead fucking witness. They're in the car that hit the
Yeah,
car.
all he knows is
Any
that he got
police-
shunted up the backside and a car crashed behind him. He
Is
doesn't
that
know
good
who's
I'm
in
not on
it.
about that. I'm on about the police. Every fucking policeman should have been out there looking for a fucking white Fiat Uno.
They were.
They did a massive operation citywide.
Yeah.
But,
So they say.
well, that's true. We don't know. They say they looked really hard. We don't actually know. I did see some footage, though, of them at the roadside measuring up this little old lady's white Fiat Uno. I definitely saw that with my own eyes. So they definitely tested at least one. But what was you going to tell me about the car then?
Well, I got to hear that the police eventually interviewed Levan Tana, who's a Vietnamese plumber and night watchman, who they thought might be the Fiat's owner. It took the detective work of Scotland Yard in 2006 to conclude the French had indeed got their man, and he was not a conspirator. Tana's failure to own up and the swift repainting of his car in red were not for any sinister reason. He was simply an immigrant afraid of getting entangled in French law, which punishes a driver who fails to stop at the scene of an accident. The Fiat was a complication for Henri Paul, but only because he was driving too fast. The Mercedes was already locked in its fatal momentum.
Okay. But then again, all this information is coming from the authorities.
It is, but you can't just discount everything he already says because
No.
he's got a suit on.
I'm not saying that.
yeah, but you're discounting
saying
everything we see.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you like
Yeah.
You're
they
giving
filmed the guy.
us shit that you found on the internet as
Oh,
well.
well,
We're giving you the shit we found on the internet.
I did enter this quite sceptical, and I watched that one documentary that you sent me, the Keith Allen one, and I was like, "This
Well,
is, you
let's
just."
save it to the end.
I was actually getting quite angry by the time I'd finished watching it.
Well, let's talk about. We'll stick to the official story. So we clip the Uno.
But what I'm saying is, there are very simple explanations for all this stuff.
Oh, and what about the CCTV
So-
cameras? We didn't get into that, did we?
Oh, do you know what? There's no CCTV cameras because they were live feeds and they weren't recorded. And the people by 11 o'clock who are watching those live feeds had gone home.
It was switched off, wasn't it?
No, they just gone home. It might have been switched off. Yeah, they've gone home. It was a live feed. It was not recorded. We're talking 1997 here.
All the
Yeah.
CCTV cameras.
That's the official line anyway.
Oh.
Surely all the CCTV cameras are working, and they were.
Apparently,
should've
in
been.
In a
it's
city
not-
like
it's not a
Paris, at
massive-
11 o'clock, they all go fucking home. I
No,
don't think so.
The French are very laissez-passer.
You guys.
Well,
The biggest cities in the world, they got all the
Do
CCTV
you
cameras.
know? Do you know?
11 o'clock, home time.
Hey, the French are very thing. I mean, they drink at work as well. At 11 o'clock, they're fucked.
Well, listen. The official story is that Henri Paul clipped the white Fiat Uno
Yeah,
and went into his fatal spin because he was pissed up.
yeah. That's
Drunk
right.
as a pig.
Drunk as a pig was the direct quote, wasn't it? So let's have a little.
They're a little gander at Henri Paul.
Because there's some stuff, and this is where, whatever you think about whether she was bumped off or not bumped off, as with all these high celebrity deaths, there's some fucking weird shit and some definite fuckery around.
There's motive.
The blood samples. No, I'm not even talking about
We'll get into
even
that
if she
later,
was or wasn't killed. I'm just talking about the way things are handled around it after the crash. Things like that. The blood samples of Henri Paul, because, like you said, drunk as a pig.
He was seen drinking 2 Ricards, wasn't he?
Which are quite strong, apparently.
I got.
But it's not enough to make you drunk as a pig, is it?
I got
If he
stuff
was on
saying
the
that,
Prozac
he didn't have
and
a
something
drink all
else,
day.
and
So-
Tiapreed.
So there's one of
and
the.
yeah, maybe.
Oh, sorry. one of the conspiracies is, well, it's not even, I don't think this one is really a conspiracy. People raised concerns about the reliability of the blood tests that were carried out on Henri Paul, which indicated that he had been drinking before he took the controls of the car. The French investigators' conclusion that Paul was drunk was made on the basis of an analysis of blood samples, which was said to contain an alcohol level that, according to Jay's September 1997 report, was 3 times the French legal limit. This initial analysis was challenged by a British pathologist hired by Al Fayed. In response, French authorities carried out a third test, this time using the more medically conclusive vitreous fluid from inside the eye, which confirmed the level of alcohol measured by blood, and was also showed that Paul had been taking antidepressants.
The Prozac.
It has been claimed that the level of alcohol reported to have been found in Paul's blood was inconsistent with his sober demeanour, as captured on the CCTV of the Ritz that evening. Professor Robert Forrest, a forensic pathologist, has said that an alcoholic like Paul, with a higher tolerance for alcohol, would be able to appear more sober than he actually was. The families of Dodi Fayed and Henri Paul do not accept the findings of the French investigation. It was disclosed in November 2006 that Lord Stevens had met with Paul's elderly parents, telling them that their son was not drunk. Now, he could have been doing that just to be nice to them, but
oh yeah,
he could have also been telling the truth.
Like a Born on the 4th of July moment where Tom Cruise goes around with the intention he didn't, telling the parents he didn't shoot their son, but ends up telling them he did.
Yeah, and this bit's important though, it's the last little bit I'll read out. In the 2 French tox lab tests, Henri Paul, was found to have 12.8% carbohemoglobin saturation, a combination of blood's iron-carrying pigment and carbon monoxide. A smoker normally has about 10%, so the result was not unusual. Paul had been smoking small cigars, cigarillos.
I do like a cigarillo, actually, I must admit.
In the hours before the crash. Another test, backed by the opponents of the official findings, showed that Paul had 20.7% in his blood at the time of death. If accurate, the rate of dispersal of carbon monoxide from the bloodstream would have meant that Paul's blood had 40% saturation a few hours earlier, and he would scarcely have been able to function at all.
And where's that from?
Wikipedia. But it's all. This is all from the all this Lord Stevens stuff. This is from all the actual inquests.
That's
and,
what I meant. Yeah, that's from the inquest.
And there's several of them, and they're different people doing different tests, coming up with different results. And
yeah, all I'm gonna say is it doesn't take a lot to switch a blood sample.
No, I've literally seen evidence of it on Making a Murderer. Have you ever watched that?
No, I haven't actually.
Holy fuck! I couldn't. It was literally one of the most shocking things I've ever seen.
Where
It's
was
a
that
documentary.
on?
Netflix, you'll find it.
All right.
So
that's strange. I haven't come across that.
They go to find the subject's, the accused's blood sample in the vault at the where it's kept, at the laboratory.
Blood
and they're
bank.
filming it as they're doing it, and the lawyer opens it up and he's like, I can't fucking believe it, because his blood was found at a scene in a very suspect way and an unnatural way. Literally a fucking pinprick in the top of the sample.
Gotcha.
And you saw this happen live on camera. Like, holy fuck! So in real life, people literally do go. Police, let's say, allegedly, take some fucking blood out and go and try and frame someone with it. Or this was the first time it happened. I don't know. I doubt it. But yeah. So switching some samples, it's all completely. We saw that policeman in the documentary claiming personal responsibility that is absolutely impossible and could never happen on his watch. Fuck. But he was super cop, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I was thinking as well, it was all, we're trusting the translation of the documentary, aren't we?
Yeah, that's true as well, yeah.
Because I don't speak of the French.
Also, you're looking at, it ain't the police, it ain't a police officer doing that blood sample. He might take it, but when it goes to the lab, it's some overworked, underpaid lab tech who isn't like just going,
They can fuck up.
They can fuck up. They're not paying
Mistakes
attention.
can
They're
make,
working
yeah.
14-hour shifts for fuck all cash. Or I've got to stay and do this next batch of blood
Or
samples.
it could be maliciously switched.
Or it could be maliciously switched. It could be human error. Who knows?
Or it could be true. He could have been drunk, but I don't know. The evidence
It's
is a
the
bit
drugs.
thin.
The drugs apparently do Prozac and Tiadopride carry warnings about drinking alcohol and driving.
But
or
he
operating
still
heavy
could.
machinery, so
He still could have been drunk as a pig. and it still could have been an assassination.
Well, I've got
Do you know what I mean?
Apparently,
Yeah.
a photographer on the night told a German TV station that Henri Paul was, quote, driving like a gangster when he left the
Was it
hotel.
a
But he's
fucking
probably trying
drive-by?
to show up.
He had a red bandana around his
Yeah.
head, he was leaning back in the seat.
Hey,
He
Chico!
had rap music playing.
Think
You know.
about it. You're Henri Paul. You're the head of the security at the Ritz. The most exciting thing you ever get asked to do is, just like
Just
keep-
stop some paps getting in.
keep your eye over it, and then all of a sudden you're getting a phone call from the owner of the fucking hotel, your employer,
Get me out of
and
here.
you know your
Yeah.
his son is dating the most famous Princess Diana. She's still Princess Diana for all intents and purposes, as far as the world is concerned. The most famous woman on earth. You get a phone call that says, right, I don't want no other fucker doing it. I'm your boss, that's my fucking son, the most precious thing in the world to me. Tonight, I don't want any other fucker getting involved. I want you're the only one I trust. You're going to get them back to the fucking flat. Fuck those paparazzi.
You've already had a few drinks, you're on
Right.
your prescription drugs.
Now you're like, whoa, shit, son, this is going to be, I'll fucking get you back, princess. You watch this, and your bodyguard, Dodie's bodyguard's probably trying to have a quiet word. Henri, you need to, I don't know if this is the best, You're like,
Yeah.
Shut up, I
You
got this.
chill out a little bit, eh?
Have you seen the photograph of him smiling as they're driving up
Yeah.
away?
I haven't.
It's the one where Diana, it's took from the front, Diana's looking out the back window, you can't see Dodie, he's obscured by the bodyguard. Trevor's doing something like this with his hand up, shielding from flashbulbs, I imagine. Henri Paul, and you can't judge...
XSAS covering his face.
well, yeah. And a photograph is a snapshot in time, you can't do it, he could have been done...
Yeah.
But he's smiling as he's driving away. He's got a fucking hard on, mate. Quite
Yeah,
possibly,
yeah, you might
quite
be
possibly,
right,
he's
yeah.
like, I'll get you back to that fucking flat, princess. Woo! Maybe got over fucking excited and simply drove into a fucking
I think
pillar.
what you got to look
It's
at is
possible.
maybe Trevor Rees-Jones is like not moaning so much. Well, this guy's had the fucking Ritz. Maybe he does know how to drive.
Yeah, maybe you
advanced
assume.
driving. You would. We all know that you never assume.
Oh, you make an ass of you and me.
Exactly.
Well,
But maybe in that case you think, well, you know what? He is.
Dodie trusts him.
Dodie trusts him. I'm Dodie. He's my boss. Maybe he has got the advanced driving skills, but when you're doing 75 miles an hour into a very difficult,
You find out he hasn't.
a
and
very
the car was
difficult dip
dodgy.
and curve with a pool car that's not fantastic, and it's been wrote off and rebotched together, and all of a sudden you clip that Fiat Uno that's just tootling some Vietnamese bloke home, and then you hit the third. We keep saying 13th pillar, but
Yeah,
I
perfectly
do
possible.
like the.
I bet the,
compass on it.
the numerologists must wank themselves stupid
Oh, yeah.
over this one. The 13th fucking pillar!
Oh,
God!
it's Crowley. Oh,
Ritual sacrifice! So, and Ben, I am perfectly open to the possibility that this is quite... Because there's an interesting theory behind what happened to the nation psychologically. Because what I found interesting in a lot of the documentaries was your average old lady in the street,
Oh,
how many of them all instantly say, and I saw dozens of them say it,
yeah.
oh, she was killed, she was killed. As a nation, psychologically, we simply don't want to accept that someone who was so fucking beloved
Yeah, can just
simply
go in an
be
accident.
killed by some idiot driver
Yeah,
who might have been
and a
drunk.
Frenchman at that.
Yes.
Or it's the fact that the royal family have got precedent in this thing.
Oh yeah.
And nobody believes a fucking word they say anymore.
I'm also open. I am also open. My point is, I haven't made my mind up right there.
All right, you say that, right? But the royal family at the moment are probably more beloved in this country than they've ever been. I mean, we've had a couple of bank holidays off for weddings.
Yeah, but
and,
people.
And then, I mean,
Yeah, you get the sycophants and they're...
yeah, I mean, your parents went down to see the Jubilee. I mean, that prime time TV had an audience of millions.
Yeah, do you know what the average
I mean-
age of a BBC One viewer is?
Yeah, well, it's probably 70 something.
61.
Yeah, so, but I mean, even like the Olympic ceremony where,
There's a
where
generation,
the
that's a
Queen
different
did that
generation
skit
now.
with the James Bond thing.
How many
you know,
people of our generation or below went to the Jubilee and
Oh,
the
probably
wedding?
not many, but the point is they're still pretty popular, and they're trying to get that. They're trying to get the likes of us on side by having Harry and William do stuff and all that.
Did
That's
you-
great, but you still argue they're pretty popular. They weren't popular before this,
I
but
don't know. I think the Queen's wedding, when that happened, I think they were more... I don't know.
Would you say they're pretty popular?
I'd say they're pretty popular, but I don't know if they're the most popular they've ever been. I really don't.
No, for a while anyway, let's face it. But they pretty do have like a complete say on the press though. I mean, like Andrew and his paedophilia scandal, hanging around with that mate who was, shagging young Thai boys. I mean, that's...
Did you know
that disappeared pretty quickly, didn't he?
Did you know that Camilla Parker Bowles, Charles' real lover, also had an automotive accident a few months previously?
Oh, really?
It doesn't get reported very much because she got in a little bit of trouble over it. Because she legged it.
All right.
She was on her way to see him on a little country lane and somebody drove straight into her head on. And she survived, but she claims...
Didn't mess her face up though, did it?
Well, no. This was in 97. She had a mobile phone and she claims she was running to the top of the hill to get signal. Apparently the steering wheel came off in her hands.
Really?
Yes, and I know you said earlier you don't think cars is a good way to kill people, but I would disagree. There's something called the Boston brakes technique, and in this day and age, it's even fucking easier than it's ever been. At its most crude, you cut someone's brakes.
Yeah.
In the car. That's at its most crude. It's a very effective way to kill people. Now, in this day and age, with cars that are Wi-Fi and electric and electronic...
but this wasn't that wasn't in 97.
But my point is, you can electronically take over somebody's car, and there's a journalist they think it happened to who was just going down a street perfectly fine and then just did a fucking right angle turn at like 100 and hit a tree. Yeah,
wow.
That's somebody on a laptop, and he was somebody who released secrets or whatever. But to your point, in 1997, now this is news to me, and I probably should have tried to look for a little bit of more solid evidence than just one article actually looked into the model of the car. But hey, like we said, you are the fact checker.
That is
Apparently,
true.
This model of car did have a computer chip.
Well, they all would have at some point. It's a luxury car. They don't have an LCD display at the very least.
It doesn't have as much control over it as it would in a modern car today. But still, apparently the chip was missing from this car. And also, what I find interesting, it might have been because of who she was, but Mercedes were never allowed to do their own investigation of the wrecked vehicle. They were kept away from it.
That's possibly due to the fact that Mercedes probably would have found the car completely unsafe because it was a botch cut job in some junkyard mechanics.
They could have also found out that the chip was removed so Henri didn't have the braking or steering capabilities of the car that he should have had.
That could have been a factor from the car's refurbishment as well.
That's true.
Like,
and the seatbelt was tampered with.
Yeah, so maybe just it was literally half a car and half a car welded together and
Cut and shut.
Cut and shut.
Well, Henri was told all his job was to do, because he's a stooge, all his job is to do is get Dodie and Diana in this particular car we've told you to use, right?
Or the one
maybe
that's
he thinks
the only
all
one
he's
left in the
going to
carpool, maybe.
Well,
we don't know
let
that.
me finish. All his job was to get them two back to the flat. That's what he was told, and he had no idea he was about to die, which is why he's got a little smile on his face as he's driving off with the princess.
Didn't realise it was a
SAS
SAS soldier in the
fucking tunnel
with a
fucking
light.
strobe light, which then fucked his fucking eyes up, and he then fucking hit the fucking tunnel because she was a danger and a threat. Not only to the integrity of the most powerful fucking lizard family in Britain, but she was also taking money directly out of the pockets of fucking arms dealers, putting pressure on presidents.
Yeah.
Right? Possibly pregnant with a Muslim child, which I don't have a problem with. Don't judge me, listener. Judge fucking Prince Philip, whatever his fucking name is.
What's happened to people that have come out against the establishment and argued for peace? Martin Luther King Jr., JFK.
What does Bill Hicks say?
Yeah.
You ever notice how...
Gandhi.
Yeah, but
he's
Alex Jones now, Gaz.
Oh, God. No, we kill those people. Yeah. That's what he says.
We let the demons run amok.
Yeah, that's the quote. We let the demons run amok. Anybody who dares to put their head above the parapet and say, hey, give peace a chance, Someone who has an actual.
I mean, look at Corbyn, for fuck's sake. How dare he
He's
say.
a Russian now.
He's got a Russian hat and everything.
How
A
dare he.
CGI Russian hat.
I've got one of them. I've got a proper Russian hat. I bought it from East Berlin.
That explains why you don't believe Diana was assassinated, you fucking shill.
I'm a communist. I'm on coincide apparently. I just bought it because it was cool and oh man, I'll give you a tip.
She was the people's princess, man.
Maybe she was, but let me tell you
13th pillar.
Cowley-esque.
Fuck.
But never wear a Soviet hat around the streets of East Berlin.
No, I can imagine.
Probably good advice for life.
It is.
Should we?
And the strobe, can I just say about the strobe light?
Yeah.
That was uncovered that was going to be a plot to murder Slobodan Milosevic, the
There's
Serbian
precedent.
leader.
And do you know
Yes.
why it didn't go ahead? Because it's a stupid idea.
I refer you to the diagram.
Well,
Oh, the diagram from the Daily Mirror.
Yes. At 12:20 a.m., a black Mercedes car with Princess Diana and her boyfriend Dodi inside roars away. Blah blah. We don't need to know that bit. Number 2. As the Mercedes enters the Pont de Alma tunnel, witnesses
Yeah.
insist it was being followed by a black motorbike, a dark saloon car, and a white turbo Fiat Uno. The saloon tailgated Diana's car to make the chauffeur drive faster and more erratically. Then the Uno clipped the side of the Mercedes to push it to one side. This allowed the motorbike to speed past. 12:23 a.m. The witnesses claimed that when the bike was 15 feet in front of the car, there was a fierce flash of white light, which came from the motorbike. The suggestion is that this came from a laser beam
Oh.
carried by the pillion passenger, which was shone at the car. The witness's view is that the flash of light blinded Henri Paul temporarily. It was followed by a loud bang as the limousine swerved violently before slamming into the 13th pillar of the tunnel. And you'll like number 4. Number 4. One eyewitness, not a one-eyed witness.
You mean it was the Cyclops view?
No, it wasn't a cyclops. It was just one person who witnessed. A French harbour pilot watched the scene in his rearview mirror. He recalls the motorbike stopping and one of the riders jumping off the bike before going to peer in the Mercedes window. The rider then turned to his compatriot on the bike and gave a gesture used informally in the military, where both arms, now for the listener, I'm crossing both arms across my chest a bit like a Power Ranger. And you then move them to out by your sides like that, and this is to indicate job done, mission succeeded.
Strange, I was never taught that piece of field craft. But then
You
again,
were in the TA.
I wasn't in the SES, but
You know, I know it's more than I was.
why
in.
would you do something so elaborate? You just fucking put a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't buy that. Why would you stand there and you've
Just
literally-
'cause
you've
nobody
got-
taught you the little
no, hang
codes.
on, think about it. You've just ran a car off the road. This road is still active. There are cars swerving. There's cars screaming past.
There wasn't there really.
There must have been some traffic. You pull up, and instead, right? So he looks in the car. He's got his motorbike helmet on. Let's assume they're all in black. He looks in the car and sees she's still alive. Because that photographer saw she was still alive.
well, she may have come to
Right?
after.
No, check
She
the
may have-
breathing, whatever. They
You
would
don't
check
know that.
the body. You got it. You can't just go.
He just
yeah,
peered in.
and then you stand there
Everyone's
and
fucked.
do your Power Ranger move, and then jump back on your bike. Oh, but you know what I'd have done?
Why
in
is
that
it any
gas?
more elaborate
In
than
that-
this?
I'd have just gone up, that thumbs up. And you know what I'd have done? I'd have got off that bike and I'd have put 2 rounds in her skull to make sure if I wanted to do it.
But then it wouldn't have been a crash then, would it? It would have been a murder.
Well, apparently I've got the ambulance crew turning up who are hand-picked. I've got all this. I've got support coming. Who cares? Job's done. Do the job.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
Simple as
Anyway,
They're
that.
coming, but
Anyway,
you know
we've
there's
established-
paparazzi behind them. You shoot someone in the head
Well, the
twice.
paps are on my side as well, apparently.
No,
No.
Paps are innocent in this. They were
They were
fucking
scapegoats.
patsies,
Oh.
Yeah, scapegoats. They were fucking rounded
I'd
up.
have fucking injected
As-
it with something then. Put cyanide, thin
Well,
needles
they
straight
didn't
in the
have
juice,
time
and
to
cyanide,
inject.
boom. If I've got time to do a Power Ranger move, I've got time to shove a syringe into someone's
It's not-
neck. Come on, think about it.
Maybe Diana wasn't the target, maybe it was Dodie.
It's not that elaborate of a gesture.
He's a... No, all this waving your hands about. Just give a thumbs up, jump back on the bike,
Just
fuck
because
off.
nobody taught you that. It doesn't mean it's
sorry,
not a real thing.
I don't buy some elaborate gestures.
It's not that fucking elaborate. Okay, let's say this eyewitness is fucking wrong and they went like that. Still, fucking hell. Somebody drove in front of it and the fucking bodyguard, one of the only fucking things he said is he remembers a dark motorcycle alongside. Now the Paps weren't on fucking powerful motorcycles. They were on little fucking...
Yeah, but a lot of people driving motorcycles around cities at night.
One of them
Hey,
had a
if the other
fucking
was, maybe
flashlight.
Maybe just some fucking prankster on a bike.
Well, let's talk about Barry Manicky for a minute.
I thought you say Barry Manilow then.
At the coca. Right. Who the fuck was Barry Manicky? Manicky was... Oh, we don't need his entire background. He was a fucking...
Bodyguard.
A bodyguard. He worked for the Royal Protection Squad. He was moved in 1986 from his royal duties at Kensington Palace to the Diplomatic Protection Group in central London. Diana always claimed he was, quote, chucked out after allegations emerged that the pair were having an affair. Manicky was actually a married man, married to a woman named Susan, a self-employed blah blah blah, that doesn't matter. So, he was a bodyguard, and there are strong rumours, and I think she is on the record as saying he was her true love, her one true love, her bodyguard. And how did he die? He was on the back of a motorbike, and a beauty therapist pulled out, and...
She just passed the test.
Yeah, the bike he was on the back of hit the car at about 35 miles an hour. He went through the back rear window of the car, and it broke his spine in 2 places, and he died almost immediately. The driver of the car, her surname's Chop, was later fined £85 for careless driving by police, and an inquest ruled Manicky's death had been a tragic accident. But not everyone was convinced by the verdict, and armchair detectives were quick to jump on Manicky's death because he had been mysteriously removed from his job. Apparently, he had displayed over-familiar behaviour with his employee, and then in 2004... a dramatic tape of Diana speaking about her former bodyguard's death sent ripples through the conspiracy theorist community.
Ah, this is the letter, isn't it?
No. She's on record as saying she thinks he was, quote, bumped off for putting his cock in her.
Yeah.
And the girl who actually drove the car...
She saw a bright light, didn't she?
Yes. Claims that... she feels somehow something weird happened, that she's not really responsible and she's not really sure what happened that night, and reports a bright blinding light.
Is it a possibility that it's the Men in Black?
It could be.
Bright blinding lights, no memories. Men in Black.
And you mentioned the letter there, so that's a bit weird, isn't it? So I think that one's quite believable. If you're a security detail and you buff the princess while she's still married to the prince, I think it's quite expected that you'll find yourself in the back window of a car, dead,
or in the woods, being in a
something.
petrol-covered grave
with 2 bullets in your head.
This ain't the fucking movies, you know. That's risky business. You're not going to have a happy ending on that. You don't buff the princess when you're a security detail. Jesus.
No.
But you mentioned the letter. Now, what Ben's referring to is a letter written in to Diana's... Well, was it written to her butler or given to a butler to keep safe?
Possibly.
It was written to
he released it anyway, Paul Burrell. He was her rock. And has been completely just outed as someone. He has been completely outed as someone who's just trying to make a quick buck out of it.
Yeah, but after her death, that doesn't mean she didn't write the letters to him.
No, it doesn't.
And of course, that's where the media is going to take that position.
Yeah, but when he was... I remember this guy on the TV, and he was just trying to just make it quick.
Yeah, he's a slimy fucker.
He was a slimy fucker.
But at the time, she trusted him. He was the fucking...
Yeah, because...
What did the letter say, Gaz? Because it's quite important.
It has a line in it where, in her own handwriting, she says, it's been blacked out in some reporting of it, the name, but I've seen it also say my husband. But anyway,
I saw that one,
plans to kill me in an accident in my car, the brakes will be cut, or it'll be a head injury, she said, to look like a head injury. It's the most dangerous time it's ever been for me to be alive. So, was she paranoid as fuck? Or, as a princess, is she privy to and knows of what happens?
Well, she thinks that they bumped off a bodyguard, and she's going to think that
they could do it
possible.
to her.
Yeah.
And she's got ex-Special Forces people around her. She might sort of ask the question, like, how would one, be bumped off in a car accident, and they might turn around and go, well, you know what, might be a strobe light. They might be shining the driver's eyes, well, you know what, you crash into the 13th column in a Paris freeway.
Yeah.
So...
And it took a long time to get an inquest on her death, didn't it?
Operation Pageant.
Paget, I think.
Paget. Which I'm pretty sure is one of the royal families of England. Not the royal family that we have now. Pagets were one of the first back in the Middle Ages, yeah. Which I thought was a strange one because the Spencers are probably sort of related to them more so than the Saxe-Coburgs. The Spencers have probably got a better claim to the throne than the Queen has.
Well, of course, she's a trans-dimensional reptile.
There's that. You're thinking they're a German family. You had all the English aristocracy. When Germans were brought over, all their claims were just cut off.
That's why we love Diana, because she wasn't one of those... Oh, yeah, she was one of those German bastards, wasn't she?
Oh, no, she was...
No, she
wasn't.
descended from Norman French like Mike.
Hey! Oh, yeah. That's what
he's probably related to her.
These two are the fucking aristocracy, and my surname is...
No, I'm the aristocracy.
I'm middle class.
He's middle
class.
I'm the fucking peasantry, apparently. I think the exact quote was, who the fuck are you?
You're the guy coming to me asking for a fucking carter's job and I'm telling you to fuck off.
Nah, I don't think so.
Nah, he's a wine merchant, we said, didn't we?
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah, Vincent Van, it works.
Fuck you. I would have been king. My ancestors. Someone was. Anyway, back to Saint Diana. The love of my life.
God, I hope there isn't. Who your girlfriend's up to this?
It's alright. She knows I was looking at her rack.
I'll give her that. She did have a good rack.
Oh, how very kind of you, Ben. She did, and she was also did a lot.
That's the thing. She was 36 when she died. She's like a year older than we are now. It's like
my age now, yeah.
And we're looking at her kind of like from our 14-year-old selves. We're like, oh yeah, she's a bit of a MILF. She's the same age as us now.
Yeah. Well, there's this lawyer called Mr. Mansfield. He works for the Al Fayed, so he was one of the top lawyers in the bloody Sunday case or something like that. Anyway, he claims that
Ginny, who's going to hear Sunday Sport then?
No,
he's top lawyers for Sunday Sport.
This guy, it says, where's the figures? It's like £700,000 a year. 700,000, he earns a year. He's a top dude. Anyway, he says she was killed after a plan to frighten her went wrong.
So he's like we're gonna make you crash your car.
Well, yeah, maybe have a little accident, chase the fuck out of you, hound you to the point where you're just gonna fucking give up on this Dodie thing. And
I got something.
And it went wrong.
I got something on the probe. This was on the probe lights.
I don't get a probe unless I get a reach around. Those are my rules.
This is in the Sunday People.
Them's the rules.
17th of August 2013.
Okay.
Princess Diana death. Cops probe sensational claim she was killed by the SAS. The allegation emerged at the second court-martial of Sergeant Danny Nightingale, who was found guilty of illegally possessing a gun and ammunition. It came in a letter to the elite unit's commanding officer by the parents-in-law of a Special Forces sniper known only as Soldier N, who was Sergeant Nightingale's former housemate and a key witness of the prosecution.
I will clarify this Soldier N thing for you, if you like.
Go on then.
There's a lot of books been written by former SAS members about various operations, and because identities are always kept concealed, they are listed. I'm not sure what they're up to now, but there was certainly when I was reading them soldiers A to F or something like that. So I'm assuming that's carrying on the progression of the Soldier N. Yeah.
The Ministry of Defence, the Royal Military Police and the Service Prosecuting Authority have known of its existence and the claim since it was sent in 2011. The 7-page handwritten letter, a copy of which has been seen by the Sunday People, also makes allegations over Soldier N's behaviour towards his wife and her family following the collapse of the couple's marriage. It is understood that the SAS passed the letter to the Service Prosecuting Authority prior to the start of the Sergeant Nightingale trial.
And I'll point out the Service Prosecuting Authority are literally the NCIS of the British Armed Forces. If you're familiar with that show? NCIS?
Yeah.
They're that kind of... They have absolute authority. They overrank your commanding officer should they want to. They're investigating crimes. They're kind of impartial away from.
Now look.
And one more second. The letter says he, Soldier M, also told her, his wife, that it was the XXX who arranged Princess Diana's death, and that has been covered up.
So, yeah, this is one of the major ones, to be honest, isn't it? That it was done by the SAS, and
apparently David Cameron knew about it.
Well,
Philip Hammond.
Pig fucker.
Yeah.
So we need to discuss, and it relates directly to this. So why the SAS trying to kill Princess Diana? Former Princess Diana.
Yeah. Well,
let's put it in these terms, though, and we have to say this doesn't reflect our opinions.
No,
but
not at all.
I think it's very, very safe to assume, especially back then in 1997.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drop me book, sorry.
20 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
The establishment of Britain is not wanting the mother of the future king.
Yeah.
To run off with her Muslim boyfriend, who she is pregnant to, possibly, allegedly. People claim that you can see a bump in that we mentioned earlier, the days before the crash, she was on the yacht with Dodie and the photographers were there, invited by Diana. People claim that you can see a little pregnancy bump. And you can definitely see a little, but that could be tummy. That really could be.
Yeah, she's had 2 kids.
Yeah, it could be. But there's definitely a bump there. And apparently, I'm just reading here, this is the Daily Mail, to be fair. So it says, as the Mail revealed after Diana's death, she had visited, in the strictest secrecy, a leading London hospital for a pregnancy scan just before those photos on the yacht were snapped.
But she did not tell any of her closest confidants.
Maybe you don't until it gets to, like, some people don't until it gets like the third trimester or something, or what it's called, the first trimester.
Maybe you also don't when you've been knocked up by some fucking playboy that you're not married to, who also just happens to be a Muslim.
An interesting thing.
Yeah, that's
interesting
thing. Yeah.
Interesting on her autopsy, didn't they chemically embalm her?
Oh, very early on, and gave her a hysterectomy.
I mean, what the fuck?
Well,
I don't know.
The chemically embalming thing apparently was not. It's not completely illegal, but it's certainly very much frowned upon before the post-mortem. But apparently, because the body was due to be shipped back to England,
that's the official story.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
The one thing that documentary, the Keith Allen documentary, did say was the body became royal property.
Right.
And I never thought of that. It was like, oh yeah, shit, it did. They came out the hospital with the guardsman carrying her.
You said she'd been stripped of her title.
She has.
Exactly.
Yeah, it says that here.
Exactly, that is the thing. But so they basically, President Jacques Chirac of France, Charles and Diana's sisters wanted to come and see her before she was taken from the hospital, and because she was quite a mess from the work done on her in the initial accident, that they like, well, shit, we can't let them see her like that. And even though it's not technically illegal, it kind of is.
It's also a good way to cover up a potential pregnancy.
That would be it, yeah. That would be the blood tests. But
because I think even if the if the crash was an accident, they still would have wanted to keep her being pregnant to Dodie.
Well,
fucking
thing
quiet,
is, would that kind of accident, even if she survived, would the baby have survived that kind of?
It wasn't that far along. But my point is, even let's say that the accident is exactly
kills
that.
Dodie, kills the kid, leaves her alive.
Let's just say it's a complete fucking accident. The car crash, total accident. There's no malicious play whatsoever.
And you're saying they get the body and they find out she's pregnant.
They go, oh fuck,
yeah,
we're not letting this out. Fuck that, and then do the hysterectomy there because of that. That's a possibility, because I'm sure they wouldn't want that news out there.
No,
it doesn't matter that they're divorced.
That is the one motive I can't, as a skeptic of this whole thing, that is the one motive I can't discount, is the fact that she was pregnant with this Egyptian Muslim guy's kid.
We've got no way
she
of
is the
knowing
mother to the future crown of the.
Yeah.
And the establishment
apparently she
would
wanted
not
to take the
take
kids
that.
with her. They were going to move to California. I'm reading here. So imagine that. A future king growing up with
As
his
an
Muslim
American,
dad
in
fucking America.
Who might convert, and he's going to be head of the church one day, because that's your job as head of state, as the Queen is the head of the Church of England.
Now, in hippie
and he's a Muslim. Or a
He'd be
certainly
pretty far-
quasi-Muslim.
Well, he'd be pretty far down the pecking order, though, wouldn't he? Of the
William.
throne.
No, William. If he,
Oh.
he moved to
William's
California.
I thought you meant Dodie and.
With William
No.
and Harry, because she might have a better custody claim. Who knows?
Yeah.
It goes to, who knows? Let's say,
Well, that's
or
another
even,
thing.
or
You
even
say
if he
about
went,
that.
even if he went out on holiday with them, which no one's got to sort of.
So you'd imagine, let's say she married Dodie and it was all above board. You'd think then the kids would go and live with mum.
And she would actually convert to Islam as well, more than likely. I
Possibly.
don't know how
In order
strict
to
a
marry
Muslim
him.
Dodie was,
I
but
don't think he was very, but I'm just saying that I literally have done no research into that. I'm guessing because he's
bit of a playboy, isn't
He's
he?
named as a playboy. That's the term
Yeah.
they use to describe him. So I'm guessing not the strictest religious man of any description is a international playboy because there's a lot of rules, religious rules being broken. I would imagine.
yeah.
Maybe a lapsed Muslim, but still, if it's his heritage and he wants to marry, he probably still has to abide by. Like he can't just marry anybody.
He couldn't go for civil service, let's put it that way, could he?
So that is, I think, the major motivation, in my opinion, from the royal family's point of view.
Yeah.
The SAS being involved with this soldier N, that, in my opinion, is where they might come into it, is her relationship with Dodie. But then, it might have had fuck all to do with the SAS, or the royal family, or Philip. It might have been
The deep state.
the fucking military-industrial complex.
Yeah, yeah. She's done us at billions reducing landmines.
Yeah, and just also bringing attention and eyes to areas that they would possibly like to not bring attention
Of course.
to because they like to make money in these countries,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, who in Britain in the 1990s, who knows where Angola is?
Exactly.
You know, just some
Yeah.
other little
I
country.
learned
that they do-
tonight.
some of the little country they do charities for,
Yeah.
isn't it? You
Yeah.
see while you're having your tea. Gives
Yeah.
So I think,
You
even
don't
with
see-
your cynic's cap on, could you agree that there's motive?
Yeah, there is motive. I don't deny it.
Yeah.
There is
agree.
absolutely
Oh,
motive.
Yeah.
completely.
Even with my
I'm so
cynics,
suspect of this. I really am.
even with my cynics hat on.
I really am suspect of it. I don't trust
Um,
a fucking word of it. To be fair.
I hate...
Why the CCTV cameras are off?
Because
I
they're
know
recorded
yours-
live. It's a fact.
But there's other ones that are up and recording. I just think that's fucking dodgy. The Fiat Uno that was never,
Yeah.
you
It
know,
was found.
apparently, but we don't know.
2006, the Scotland Yard admitted the French had got the right man.
Yeah, but then that's convenient, isn't it?
It took them long enough.
The fucking
Yeah.
two bodyguards, Barry Manicky, who was killed or died in an accident.
That was
and
dodgy.
also the other one who survived.
And also we're forgetting that we had an inquest.
Two.
Yeah, two. Was it two? Was it?
Yeah. There was one 10 years
Yeah.
ago.
And where did they take place? Her Majesty's Royal
Yeah.
Courts.
Oh, but lots of things have Her Majesty's in front of them.
No, these people, these
They do,
judges,
but when
they have
you've
to
got-
swear
Yes.
allegiance to the Queen.
Of course you do.
Who's
Yeah.
on trial? The royal family. They own the courts. They own the judges.
And I won't deny to you,
Yeah.
that doesn't exactly leave for
And-
impartialness.
And the verdict was unlawful killing. So the jury thought it was manslaughter.
Yeah, well, they never told,
And they blamed Henri. Now, one
And they
thing
blamed
we didn't-
they blamed Henri
and
and
the paparazzi.
the driver of the white Uno. The paparazzi were
okay.
not found guilty.
Right.
They were scapegoated.
They were scapegoated
But
first.
like you say, the news,
reported it
even
there
now
and
on the
then.
BBC News, according to that documentary, it still says that the paparazzi were involved.
Chased her into the
Yeah,
tunnel.
even though that is false.
And there's a couple of other ones we haven't touched on, possible motives. This one, I don't really agree with. This is the one my girlfriend went for if she had to choose one. She doesn't
Right.
necessarily think this is. Because we watched the documentary, I can't recommend that enough, Diana, in her own words. We felt so fucking sorry for this woman. We really did. Faked her own death to abscond. But my counter to that is, she couldn't do that to her children, could she? They were everything to her. Or could she? I don't know.
Well,
Did
maybe
her
they're
and
still seeing
Dodie-
her. Who knows?
Did her and Dodie just disappear for a life of...
Maybe they
And
do.
maybe they're living in the same place as, I don't know, who are some of the other famous ones? Elvis and
JFK.
Hitler. They're all in a village together.
No, maybe it was a case where he will disappear. We'll fake our own deaths and we'll fuck off
Keep
somewhere.
contact with Wills and
Keep
Harry,
contact
maybe.
with them.
I don't
You
know.
know, who knows what they do? They might bugger off a couple of weeks a year and see you. Who knows? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
That's one. The other one, we might have mentioned it, Target Dodie. Was it business rivalry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
Was it also... Now, we haven't... I might have referred to this earlier. I can't remember if it was on air or off air. Sorry, listener. His father... No. Mohammed Al-Fayed. Is publicly so vocal and, champions the conspiracy theory. What if that's all a front and there was actually some kind of racism going back the other way? He didn't want some fucking white Christian floozy ex-royal fucking, play girl who's already got 2 kids marrying into my family.
But he also
it's not likely. It's because he would probably love having the future king.
Well,
in his
of
course
family,
he would.
Yeah.
And he was.
He comes across as very
genuine.
Affectionate towards.
He cries
Diana.
at his mausoleum almost every.
Yeah. No, but he was affectionate towards Diana as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He didn't think
he is now.
Mm.
We didn't see much of him when they were. Did she meet him? I mean, I don't know.
Apparently, he went to the hospital, didn't he, Gaz? He said.
Yeah.
And he saw her body, didn't he?
But remember, for a long time, he wanted to be a British citizen. He owned Harrods, and they told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
There's something dodgy about him.
No, because he was probably brown skinned. That's what it was.
Well, no, he owned Harrods.
Racism,
He lived in
isn't
the
it?
country for a long time.
Yeah.
He's a multi-billionaire. He should be one of the boys, shouldn't he?
Yeah,
he
but
might
he's
be
not-
brown, but he's got the
He's
money.
not though, is he?
He can put in money. He can invest. He can back people. I mean, although his friendship with MJ might have done him in.
That's possible.
Well, there's a little bit of, we've mentioned it.
It's a billionaires club. It doesn't matter whether you're black, brown, white, or there's the white
I don't know,
billionaires.
no.
Yeah, but there's a
I've always
difference
been
with the
told-
royal family, isn't there? That's
I've always
different.
been told, Ben, that there's a difference between you're someone who comes into money, even if it's your father's
new money and old
new
money, yeah.
and then. But it's
He was
different
self-made,
being one of them
wasn't he?
bloodlines.
Yeah,
You'll never be in that club.
Yeah.
Even like Bill Gates is, I don't know, he might be the second richest man, whatever. Even he'll never really, truly be in them circles. And, he can hobnob with them for the photo ops and all that.
He doesn't get invited to a
fundraising.
secret Rothschild parties.
He doesn't get invited to the secret child abuse parties, allegedly.
He's too busy being a nerd. But do you know what I mean? Like, you could be, let's say we win the lottery tomorrow and invest it in something and somehow become even richer than, like, beyond anyone's wildest dreams rich. We've got 5 billion each. We're still not going to be able to marry the 8th Earl of something's, it's still going to be like, oh, bloody hell no.
I speak for yourself, you're pretty much married. Mike's got an interdimensional penis.
But you know what I'm saying? We'll never be truly accepted. And so, Fayed would never be accepted.
Johnny Rotten can marry into the aristocracy, so can I.
Well, look, man, Fayed.
I'll have you know my cousin's dating the 4th in line to the Horlicks fortune.
Yes, you have stated it. Doesn't mean you're getting any of it.
No, it doesn't. There's just they think I'm a prick.
I don't know if they listen.
I doubt it.
I have to meet him once.
That's true.
So, but to the point, Mr. Fayed is never going to be accepted. This was probably his chance. Oof, my fucking son Dodie marries her.
I'll finally get my British passport.
Yeah, the mother of the bloody future king. I'll finally be let in. They'll accept me. I own fucking Harrods and they still look down at me. Bastards.
And then when she died, they stripped him of the royal seals above Harrods, didn't they?
Yeah, because he kicked up a fuss.
Oh, because they blamed Dodie.
Yeah, he was kicking up a fuss. They'd stripped him the royal.
Because he.
So Harrods didn't get the royal charter
Oh.
anymore. So he burnt them, didn't he? In his
yeah,
garden.
well, stop charging 3 quid for a fucking bag, you prick. How's that?
Did Philip order this? Am I saying that? Prince Philip is Charles's dad, isn't he?
He is.
Mhm.
Yeah, right, thank you.
I think the Queen gives the say because she's technically the monarch. Right? Philip's just like a guy that hangs around with her.
But we all know
But
she's a woman.
she's probably not going to
I'm
sort of.
joking, that was a joke.
She's probably
We
not
know
going to.
he's
If
a
he
joke.
says like,
Joke.
you should strip Harrods of its royal charge, she might go, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, apparently he's a psychopath as well.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
There was no evidence to corroborate any of them claims. And I'm not saying he's he's an angel himself, but
Did you see?
he's like, some bloke just goes, yeah, he was banging Princess Margaret. You got no fucking evidence of that, mate. Come on.
Did you see the interview? It's very famous footage of him. It's just after the engagement announcement of Diana and Charles, and the interviewer's asking him, and he says,
"Couldn't believe it."
And you're in love, and Diana rolls her eyes and says, "Of course." And Charles literally, whatever in love means.
Yeah.
I can't believe it, can you? And she knew then, didn't she? She said she had this This feeling in the pit of her stomach.
Just
What
like,
the fuck have I just done?
This is fucked.
Easy if you try, you go, yeah, of course I am.
And
That's
she
all
knew
you
about
gotta say.
it.
Yeah,
He
of course
couldn't
I
even
am.
cover it. That
No,
shows
no.
you that's psycho, man.
Yeah.
Lack of emotion, cold,
But did you read
unfeeling.
that article I sent you about Charles?
I didn't actually, but
It was basically he's public obsessed. When Diana died, it wasn't his first reaction wasn't oh my god. It was oh the public are going to bloody hate me for this. You know,
Of course
and
he's
he
self-obsessed.
is completely self-obsessed, completely obsessed with the public views him,
Yes.
terrified of becoming Charles III.
Now I didn't know this.
Would it be ironic
but
if Charles III got his head cut off?
In
Just like
Diana's
this
own-
the first one in some kind of revolution. Wouldn't that be ironic?
Would, but in Diana's own words, she actually said that when her fame started to boom as the new fiance of Charles, and they go and do their engagement, the attention she was getting was driving him insane with jealousy. Apparently, I thought he was just like a chill dude who wouldn't have. But apparently, it fucking drove him nuts.
Because he was like considered at the time when he.
The Queen's my bloody mummy, not hers.
But
Look at me.
back in his youth, he was considered like a very handsome, eligible
He
bachelor.
was actually, yeah.
So I don't know how,
No.
but
Yeah.
back in the day, apparently he
It's
was.
money, Ben. Money.
Money, yeah.
And the Queen.
And the
makes you
Queen,
handsome.
man, the Thatcher next in lines of the British Empire at
Yeah.
the time, I suppose. But then again, that massive age difference. You know, he's in his 30s and she's 17, 18, 19. You know, he's starting to age at that point, and she's still. You know,
Her
fucking
fucking
house is
job,
barely
then.
left. She hasn't even gone to university at that point.
Her fucking job was to pump out a couple of babies and shut the fuck up, sit there and look pretty, do the photo ops and all that. That was her fucking job. That's what she was selected for. But she was had too much spirit. She clocked onto it. In her own words, she said this very early on.
And she rebelled.
And she fucking rebelled against him, which I don't think they saw coming a mile off and would have. I don't know if they killed her or not. They definitely would have been fucking happy about it. And the reason that documentary exists, where in her own words, where it's literally her voice talking to the tape, is, I think I might be repeating myself, but yeah. So the journalist sent the doctor in. She was still HRH then. She was still part of the palace. But who's ever dared to do that? Arrange an interview that
It was
then
a voice
became
coach,
a book.
wasn't it?
It was a what?
It was a voice coach.
Yes,
wasn't it?
something like. But he was definitely
the
someone
doctor
who they
did-
just didn't think to monitor, and the journalist gave him the. And then it's quite. I actually, for once, respect this guy who wrote the book, because most of these royal reporters are just fucking parasites, aren't they? But they did it in agreement. He released the book, and it was called Diana, Her Story, but he did not reveal until after she died. But he did not reveal that it was literally from these tapes of her saying it. So everyone accused him of just being a fucking charlatan, and he was dismantled and ripped to shreds in the press. Sold a fuckload of books, so I don't feel too sorry for him. But fair play to him, didn't embarrass her or expose her, because surely that would have been grounds to kill from the royal families. You did what? You allowed somebody in with a tape and you discussed your intimate fucking details of you and Charles's marriage and the way things work in the palace. You fucking cow. So yeah, it was only after her death he revealed that these tapes existed, and then NBC bought them, and that's how they're out there in the open. Now you can watch it on Netflix. It was mind blowing, really. I mean, I'm not that into the royals, but it's fucking fascinating.
They will protect that establishment. If you're in power, then you ain't going to risk anything, are you? And one little rogue aristocrat, you ain't. No, I suppose this is a good point to sort of give our.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're wrapping up a bit now, I'd say.
I still remain quite sceptical that this wasn't just an accident. I think there's better ways to kill someone. I see the motives. Don't get me wrong. Completely see the motives.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's nothing more than from the royal family's point of view, a well-timed accident.
Very possible. Very possible. This was just an accident. And like I said earlier, the nation psychologically as a nation, we just won't accept it because
personality
so
cult
much.
built up by the Mail, the Express. I mean, for fuck's sake, she's a.
Yeah, but
I've got my skull and pentagram here open. We're going to get some EVPs off Diana.
What I found interesting was not the Daily Mail readers. It was little old ladies in the street, in the cafe, and they asked like 4 or 5 of them in the road, didn't they?
But they are Daily Mail readers.
No, these are like working class, like, do you know what I mean? They're like reminded me of my mum, that sort of person. They're all straight away like, oh yeah, I think she was killed. And how many of them, though, if you ask them the same question, was 9/11 an inside job? Would say, oh yeah, definitely, it's the Queen of Lizard. Do you know what I mean? These aren't conspiracy theorists, they're fucking regular people. So what I'm saying is...
Yeah, but they've had that pumped into them by the Daily Mail and the Express.
No, not that. What I'm saying is they just psychologically don't want to accept, like we said earlier, that she simply clipped a fucking car and died like that. Someone they idolise so much died like that. So they have to, as part of our human makeup,
mechanism.
We need a narrative for everything. We have to put stories in place and we have to have a narrative. So it's, the royals were upset with her, she was pregnant to Dodie, they killed her. Doesn't mean they didn't, but what I'm saying is you could be absolutely bang on right, could have simply been a fucking overexcited, underexperienced driver in a dodgy fucking car that clipped some Uno and fucking killed them. People die in car accidents, left, right, centre. Just because you're the most famous woman in the world doesn't make you immune to being hit by buses or dying in car accidents or falling down the stairs and breaking your neck.
Worldwide died that day in a car accident.
Exactly. So, very possible. But it's all the other fucking shit afterwards that makes me even more
There wasn't
suspicious.
an inquest immediately. You know, the CCTV cameras, we mentioned this before, all the little things adding up.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Why
I mean?
scapegoat the paparazzi instantly? You've already got a narrative. They wrote the story right there and then. It was these cunts chased her in there.
Yeah, well, it's always going to be the foreigners, isn't it? Some of the dodgy foreigners.
Well, it's fucking...
If that didn't pass, the driver's drunk. Drunk as a pig.
Drunk as a pig. Oh, and we didn't
While
mention
driving
earlier,
like a gangster.
And we didn't mention 2 days earlier to the crash, Henri Paul, the driver, passed his pilot's medical and test, and there's no signs of alcoholism, nothing written down.
Yeah, and also apparently the police searched his flat and found like sort of a standard sort of amount of alcohol that half a bottle or something.
And they went back again.
And then it looked like a fucking brewery.
But at the same time, I refuse to believe that if you're trying to frame someone, you're that shit at it.
But he was a patsy, possibly. Remember what I said earlier? So as far as he doesn't think he's going to die.
Money in his account.
Yeah, he doesn't think he's going to die. He thinks he's driving them. All he's got to do is get them in a particular car and get them to a place.
The shit car that's gonna crash, and his two shit cars. He knows. He's head of security. He knows what the cars are like. Get into that car. Oh yeah, that's the shit one.
How many did they have though? We don't know that.
Well, no,
of cars.
I know that. Yeah, but
just because
he's drunk as a pig, he wouldn't know anyway.
His job, he's head of security at the hotel. His job, he's not a chauffeur.
No, he's not. That's the point. He probably thought he was. He probably thought he probably been in an advanced driving course 20 years ago and thought he still knew it all.
Or he was an
Well, he had a few beers, he had a few aperitifs with his Prozac and his other prescription drugs, and then thought, maybe I'm
we can go round and round in circles on this, can't we?
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say, Ben, your official verdict.
I see the motives, but I don't think it was anything more than an accident.
Okay, Mike.
Guilty as sin.
I think it's some dodgy shit going on.
I have to err on the fact that assassination.
Yeah, I think they got rid of it. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was the Royals or the military-industrial complex, but I think the motives are there. They've done it before. I don't believe a fucking word they say. They own the courts. They're embalming. The hysterectomy.
And even the jury said she was murdered or manslaughter.
Yeah.
That's the verdict from the jury, so I'm going with the jury on this one.
Plus, don't forget the gesture, Ben.
Oh,
you start as a Power Ranger and then move your arms.
Who can forget a really elaborate gesture that you don't have the time for to perform in that exact scenario when you could just give a thumbs up?
Time me.
And then put 2 rounds into her head.
Time me.
Time me.
About the same?
Nah, that's quicker. Mine's quicker. Thumbs up's quicker.
It's in your head.
Yeah, Jesus.
Anyway, that was shit for audio.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Them having a gesture off.
Yeah.
And the fact that they washed away the crime scene.
Oh, very quickly. Now, that super cop who didn't do anything wrong, the French one who we saw, he says that was just to get... He didn't want to turn it into like a mausoleum for Diana. He just wanted to open it up, get the traffic moving through. I don't know. They tend to do that after assassinations. It showed a different one, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Where they started hosing it down.
Yeah.
Where was that?
India
Pakistan,
or
I think.
Pakistan, yeah.
Pakistan.
Oh, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Scum, 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 scum.
Yeah.
No, I think I understand the motives. I just think it was a really tragic circumstance.
Could have been. I am still open to that. I am.
Oh God,
I just think there's
I just think
too
it's
much dodgy shit.
Yeah.
Right? And I love her. I fucking love her, Ben.
Should we have some quotes to finish?
Yeah. Can we call a quick piss break?
Yeah.
Before the end. Alright, so we're back and we've kind of summed it up. I think that it's an accident and you two think there's more to it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
A few tiny quotes to finish what she said.
Oh, St. Diana.
Carry out.
The people's princess, Ben. Show some respect. You've been very rude all episode. This is Diana we're talking about. Sorry, Mike. Please.
It's alright, mate.
Give us some.
I'm with you on this one.
Please give us some of her kind
Oh,
words.
just because you two have cracked one off watching fucking documentaries.
I couldn't. The owner was there.
Oh, just because you then thought of Diana while she was cracking you off.
Oh, well. Are you even watching me?
I told
Are
you.
you in my head? Get out!
I told you about cameras in most people's houses.
Carry out a random act of kindness with no expectation of reward, safe in the knowledge that one day someone might do the same for you.
Yeah,
If
good
everyone
stuff.
took that, what a wonderful world it would be.
What a wonderful world it would be.
HIV does not make people dangerous to know, so you can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows they need it.
But space AIDS is a different matter entirely.
Exactly. You don't want space AIDS.
Nobody wants space AIDS.
I don't go by the rule book. I lead from the heart, not the head.
Sounds like a perfect way to get yourself shot. Or killed. Or assassinated.
Or the Boston Breaks assassination technique.
I like to be a free spirit. Some don't like that, but that's the way I am.
Okay?
I think the biggest disease the world suffers from in this day and age is the disease of people feeling unloved. I know that I can give love for a minute, for half an hour, for a day, for a month. But I can give. I am very happy to do that. I want to do that.
She really did like giving love.
I knew you were going to make some sort of disparaging comment about her promiscuity. Well, you know, she was a virgin till she was 19 and she lost it to fucking Charles. You can't blame her for going out
I
and
imagine he was a
exploring
perfectly adequate lover. I bet he said sorry when he came.
Sorry, darling. I'm sorry, but we've just made it king.
Just point it out.
Could you do me a favour, please, Diana? Could you make a noise like a horse? Why do you want that, Charles? No reason. Come a little, Diana. Sorry. Nay. The fuck was the obsession with commit? That woman must have fucking sucked like a pro or something.
Well, her grandmother, great-great-grandmother was some mistress to his descendant as well, so I think that turned him on. It's like banging the same...
Remember the tapes where he told her, the phone calls came out where he told her he wished he was her tampon so he could go inside her and travel.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes!
I remember that, yeah.
That's sick.
I wish I was your tampon. And
That's what it is, a kind of dirty talk,
I'd
though,
go,
isn't it?
yeah, I'd go right up there inside you and travel with you. Yeah, Charles, you dirty
I bet he's already got a shrink ray. I bet he's done it already.
Probably.
He is a bit of a tampon, bless him. But, yeah,
Future king, Gaz. Future king.
He'll die before... Willie will get it. That's my opinion. He'll die before the Queen, Charles will. And then it'll be William. That's my opinion.
Do you think Charles will be bumped off?
I think he's going to be in a Land Rover accident on one of his estates. A pheasant
Choke on
through the...
Choke on a Cornish shortbread.
A radio-controlled drone that looks like a pheasant is going to fly directly through the windscreen and smash his face in. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Maybe.
So, do you want to give us some more...
Yeah.
Give us a kind word.
I want to walk into a room, be it a hospital for the dying or a hospital for the sick children, and feel that I am needed. I want to do, not just be.
Great.
Only do what your heart tells you.
No.
Can you read them all out, please? Because I feel that Ben's finding
he
this
needs
difficult.
this. Hugs can do great amounts of good, especially for children.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Don't go around hugging random children.
I'm not likely to, in all fairness. You're the one hugging children, Gaz.
Hey, my girlfriend.
Nothing brings me more happiness than trying to help the most vulnerable people in society. It is a goal and an essential part of my life, a kind of destiny. Whoever is in distress can call on me. I will come running whenever they are.
Of course you would have. She'd have left her ivory tower and come running to some homeless bloke on the street. Of course you would have.
The greatest problem in the world today is intolerance. Everyone is so intolerant of each other.
Can we not read these quotes anymore? You're boring the shit out of me.
Well, me and Mike are loving it. Can we have another, please,
Yeah.
sir?
It's vital that the monarchy keeps in touch with the people. It's what I try and do. It's opposite to what they try and do, isn't it?
Don't pick and choose, but read the whole. Honestly,
I'd like to be a queen in people's hearts, but I don't see myself being queen of this country.
Oh God, yeah.
She's a very sad figure, really. Well, she's a great figure, to be honest.
No, you just wanted to sleep with her, both of you did. That's what
No,
you
it's more than that. Genuinely,
No,
all
yeah.
comedy aside, there's more than that.
There was something about it, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that sounded wrong, but there was something about
Like
it.
a beautiful soul, sort of thing.
Yeah. And
You
she
kind of felt that she had a bit of a rough time of it, even though she was bored into privilege. But then she doesn't have to go and fucking campaign against landmines and shit.
Yeah, but what
You're
do massive,
cynical.
what do massive mansions and Rolls Royces mean when you don't see your own fucking parents? You're fucking what's the word? Fobbed off on like this nanny, that nanny.
That's how they
this
all
nanny.
grow up.
Yeah, that's why they'll grow up fucking weird. The girls all end up
Ben,
fucking sucking dick like champions.
When
of
she
doing
was about
coke.
6, her mother disappeared, and her father didn't tell her for like 6 weeks, wasn't it, or something?
Something like that.
And she used to sit on the doorstep waiting for her mum to come home.
She was lovely. Though.
No, that's bad parenting.
Well, yeah, fucking is. It's fucking heartbreaking, to be fair.
It is. I'm not saying that she wasn't a Wonder Woman. I'm just saying that she's not the saint that she's made out to be.
No, of course, maybe when people die, of course people tend to see their best in them rather than their worst, don't they? But
She was the people's princess for a reason.
Them old people who went and bought them flowers off the flower companies. Must have made a
Oh
fortune.
yeah, we didn't mention that. That's the other conspiracy theory. This was all planned by the most powerful men in the flower industry.
Yeah, who can? Yeah.
People bought a lot
They
of
did.
fucking
They
flowers.
did. Maybe flower sales were down. They needed something.
They weren't that day.
Yeah, they certainly fucking weren't.
she got into a bit of full Alex.
Yeah, let's end with a bit of comedy.
Were you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
So, we're basically trying to decide. You're going to play us 2 videos.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Who's more fucking mental?
Oh God, he's got a fucking cross on his camouflage baseball cap. Oh, this is.
That's not a fucking
This isn't gonna.
contradiction in visual imagery. I don't know what the
Here I
fuck
am wearing
is-
my desert camo baseball cap with a Christian cross emblazoned on the front, and I'm not a medic. It's just a red cross, right?
Do you know what Batman says about why he has the crest on his chest?
No.
Because it's a target that takes. Don't shoot me in the head or the face.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know? Well, that guy's got it on his head, so
Yeah.
somebody please fucking shoot this guy in the head.
I get the feeling I'm going to feel like that at the end of this clip, guys. So I'm going to try and keep quiet. And
Have a listen to what Dave Daubenmeier says about vaccines. Shall we?
Oh God.
About vaccines.
Oh,
Okay.
Satan.
I read a lot of stuff. And have you guys noticed this? Have you noticed the explosion of deviant sexual proclivities? It used to just be homo and straight. Then it was homo and straight and bi, and homo and straight and bi and trans, and homo and straight and bi and trans and gay, and homo and straight. They keep adding initials, right?
You run out?
And I was reading something that this is happening, literally this is happening because our DNA is being changed.
Oh,
And our DNA is being changed not only through what we eat, but through the stuff that we're seeing right here. Who knows what was injected into some of these deviant sex people as children? Who knows what was, when they say they were born that way, maybe they were vaccinated that way.
All right.
wow.
So vaccinations are making everyone gay. So I've been vaccinated.
Yeah.
Well,
You've been vaccinated, Gaz.
I'm not sure about. I got
You would have
bit
been
by-
vaccinated
I got bit
as a
by
child.
a dog and as a kid. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had
Mike,
anything
you've
as an
been
adult.
vaccinated as a
I
child.
assume so.
Are any of you gay? Time to come
Well,
out. I'm not. I'm
Gay
not
is a very big term, Ben.
Are
know.
you? Do you want to be a woman? Do you fancy members of the opposite sex? Do you fancy both sexes? Or would you class yourself as a heterosexual?
Well, we are not on the same vaccination. Not that I'm defending this man's views, but we don't have the same vaccination as the generation after us, do we? and we haven't got green hair and we're not crying in the streets.
Yeah. I also want to
Oh fuck! I defended him.
I also want to point out we do not defend. I
No.
wholeheartedly disagree with the man's views.
Well, he's a nut job.
He's in it purely for our comic thing. I'm going to say that he's a fucking lunatic because he's would have been vaccinated. He's not gay,
Yeah.
or maybe he is. Maybe they'll find him in a fucking motel with a rent boy in a couple of years' time. Then he'll blame that he's straight from the Lord. But he's been forgiven, so send him some more fucking money.
He's misguided.
What a
at
prick.
best.
Next video.
You gonna say anything, Gaz?
Well, let's see. So the point of the competition is to decide who is more mental this week. The guy we just listened to, or
Dwayne what?
Dobenmeyer.
how does his mental ramblings compare to that of our Lord and Saviour,
Bill Hicks.
Saint Alex
Don't
Jones?
refer to him as a saint. He is. One day I'm going to meet him in Dolly Town Hall for that boxing match he keeps ducking out of.
He doesn't know it exists.
Someone listening, tell Alex Jones I am willing to meet him in Dolly Town Hall.
I'll tell
For
you
a
what,
boxing
my
match.
money's on fucking Alex Jones.
Get
I
out
think
of it.
I think
He works out, Ben.
I think
So
he might.
do I.
I think he might tire quickly, but I reckon he'll get you down before.
I'll
that.
have this done in 3 rounds.
I think you're very underestimated.
3 rounds.
I think
It's
Alex,
twice your weight
3 rounds.
for starters. He's got the weight advantage.
I don't. Ducking and diving, mate. Float like a butterfly, still
Yeah,
like
but
a
he
bee.
can take the punches, absorb them.
Oh, he hasn't met the old left hook yet.
Have you ever boxed in your life, Ben?
Briefly.
The only time I saw you when you were about 11 years old, you had that fight on the field that lasted about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I did. But I have boxing, son. I've fought since then.
But you did win, I remember.
I did. Left hook.
Bloody, gave him a bloody nose.
I did. So poor I am. That's it.
You were 11.
I know.
He's not. Honestly, I just, as your friend.
I did very briefly box in the TA. I stepped in the ring. I did the
Fucking
milling.
That doesn't make you fucking Sonny Liston, do you know what I mean?
It doesn't
Fuck
make
me,
it-
that was an old reference.
No,
he retired in
it
the
doesn't.
60s.
It does not. But he's 55 and out of
You
condition.
don't
He
Sugar
works
Ray- you know
out, he's
Sugar
not
Ray
out of
Leonard.
shape. He's carrying a bit of weight, but he works out, man.
Look, I'm telling
He
you,
lifts weights.
I can have him in 3 rounds.
You're gonna... This... Oh,
Look at
this
my
always
strategy
goes-
on air, am I?
Well, what I object to is that when I, in previous episodes, some of our earlier episodes, would discuss, and I had actual planned out methodology of how I would beat Jesus in a fist fight.
He's a deity.
No, he's the son of a carpenter, right? You were all over me there, like you'd never know. Both of you actually thought he was going to kick my ass, and you want me to believe you could beat Alex Jones in a fight.
Yeah.
He's got fucking mental on his side.
You ain't seen me go yet.
I've seen Alex rant.
You haven't seen me rant yet.
I fucking have every fucking Sunday.
I can
Fuck
go
you,
full
Alex.
Alex if I want to. I'm telling you,
Oh, well,
I can have him. Right, play the tape, Mike.
All this is a societal wrecking ball to destroy any semblance of normality, any semblance of basic human biology that you see in the bees, and you see in the birds, and you see in the pinnipeds, and you see in all the other major species of otters, and of mice, and of cows, and of horses, and of everything else, ladies and gentlemen. They don't see them out telling pachyderms that it's sexist that there's a male bull and a female cow. Elephants. But again, imagine if somebody in a demon outfit showed up next to a baby giraffe and said, "Hi, I'm a demon. Be inclusive. Don't be mean to me. Let me wear demon horns and come up and look like a complete alien from another planet. Let a space alien." And by the way, this is a program. They dress up like space aliens all over the United States and all over the world. I told you. In horrible demon psychopath outfits that make Pennywise look beautiful. And they show up and they have their way with your children in demon outfits. I mean, if you got men that look like 400-pound goblin demons with your children, there's nothing you all put up with. There isn't a species on the planet that would let something that looks like a space alien get up close to its kids. But only in America does it happen, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it right now.
He just picked up the chair and threw it at the camera.
I will admit.
And he was talking about drag queens reading books to children.
I will admit that one with the 4 horns on her forehead, his forehead, looked a bit iffy for a drag queen.
Drag queen story time. Why is that a thing? I mean, I don't want to be addicts about it, but can I just
Wait,
say,
what does it matter who's reading the fucking story?
It shouldn't.
well, within fucking reason.
Unless they've got
come
4
on.
horns on their forehead.
Yeah, but why is it necessary? Why do little kids need, like, you know, why do you need a drag queen to do it? Why can't it just be...
I think it's sort of getting children sort of, you know...
Don't judge.
Yeah,
basically.
It's like an inclusion.
Transvestite.
Yeah.
It's like an inclusion thing. Say, kids, it's okay to be who you want to be. If you want to be a drag queen in the future...
Hey, kids.
See,
Well, look, can I just say...
Alright, I'll go for that. But can't you just teach about it rather than have... I don't know.
Well,
Do you need like kids of 6 years? I don't know.
We need to point out, from a technical standpoint, Alex Jones is a masterful fucking talker. How he kept that tone without losing breath, right? That bit at the end where he went right before he picked up the chair. He's a fucking skilled performer, man.
Oh,
fuck yeah. He's Bill Hicks.
He is a talented actor.
Yeah, I love watching him.
He's
I'm
fucking
addicted
brilliant.
to him. He is fantastic.
As long as you don't take
don't
it-
you like Bill Hicks?
Hey, but
He's Bill Hicks.
he's not Bill Hicks.
He's Bill Hicks.
He's not.
He just is.
So, you believe the Bill Hicks is Alex Jones conspiracy,
Yep.
but Diana definitely wasn't murdered.
Nope.
Okay.
And I'll also
You
stand
just
by,
lost your admin privileges.
and I'll stand by every single alien story too, my friend.
I was going to say, I can't wait for whatever subject you're picking next.
I've got the movie one next.
Ah, well, we'll have to wait till the one after then. Oh, fuck, I'm going to put, never mind, Cynic's hat. I'm going to wear a Cynic's helmet.
You can't wear a Cynic's hat for V for Vendetta. That's the next episode. That's the movie pick for
I
next
don't believe
week.
it's a real film.
Well, it is.
It's a figment of your imagination.
You've read the comic book?
Nah, I haven't.
Haven't
Not
you?
for a while.
Well, there you go. So you've read it.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't exist. So, who was more mental this week? Alex or the bloke before?
I'm going bloke before for the simple reason that while I find drag queens reading books to kids a little bit weird,
Me too.
I don't feel the need to pick up my chair and hurl it at the television.
Yeah.
I just think, well, I don't really understand it, but it's not doing any harm. Whereas vaccination bloke
Yeah.
is like damaging us as a species.
He thinks your DNA is being changed by these vaccinations and the food you're eating. I mean, I'm not a scientist.
We've established that.
I would go as far as to say that
There is a way that it could change your DNA if they're injecting radioactive material into your body.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Would you think it's a more safe bet? No, I'm not. You know, claiming to be more intelligent than this chap in the video. That the reason
You probably are more intelligent than that chap in the video.
The
to be
reason
fair.
there's a rise in sexual promiscuity and there's more groups, like he said, it started out with just the gays, and now you've got transsexual and all this. Is that not more likely to be a societal
Of course it is.
based
Well, yeah.
change?
It's more and more people are waking up to the fact that your
Yeah.
religion's bullshit.
It's not necessarily
So just be what you want to be.
chemically induced.
Basically, his beliefs are under threat because he knows they're bullshit, but he makes a lot of money out of them.
And to paint a picture for the audio listener, the man was wearing, like we said, a camouflage hat with a big Christian cross on it, and he was green screened in front of an empty baseball
Yeah, that
stadium.
puzzled me. I was
For
going to mention
fuck's
it, but I
sake.
didn't.
Yeah.
I'd already heard Mike's warning about telling me to shut up through film videos. So I kept quiet, but I did wonder to myself, why is he being green screened into an empty stadium? Wouldn't it have made more sense for him to be green screened into a full stadium?
Well,
I'd have gone for that.
but it would have looked like a sad, you know, obviously a still picture of a stadium of people not moving.
Oh, there's a
Maybe
few
he's
lights
trying to-
flashing off, strobe lights maybe
Maybe
going
he's,
off.
do you think did he look like the kind of man who had that kind of technical
No,
access
no,
to,
he
you know,
didn't. He looked like some
special
dumbass.
effects bed?
He looked like some dumbass redneck who lives in a trailer,
Yeah.
but probably lives in a multi-million-dollar pound mansion.
So
because,
once again, I'm
yeah.
noticing a theme with this game. The words the first video man were using are definitely more mental. He had more mental ideas. But it's Alex's delivery that definitely takes the biscuit in terms of who was acting the most crazy.
Absolutely. And of course, Alex Jones is a fictional character. He's admitted that in court.
Oh, yeah. He's an actor. He's a businessman.
He's a shill.
He's not a shill for himself. He's a shill for his own company.
He's a shill for the likes of Trump and the 1%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but to be fair to
he's
him,
the guy that's joining the skull-faced aliens.
Hang on,
isn't he?
Basically, because he always rallied against them, but as soon as Trump became president,
but Mike, in the interests of fairness, though, if he disagrees with Trump, he does say...
Does he?
He doesn't just blindly agree with everything Trump does. He'll still rant and rave against certain decisions.
Only if Trump's decisions have kind of been overturned a little bit, like the wall
And he'll always give him an out, wouldn't he?
And he'll always give him an out.
He'll say,
He's been forced into this by demonic forces in Congress. Obamaites. You know, they're demons. I can smell. I've been told by sources you can smell sulfur on them.
You can't take the man says seriously.
No.
But I have to admit, I don't know what this says about me, but it wasn't necessarily drag queens reading to kids that I found a problem. It was, you can't see, listener, but one of them was dressed... Alex is right, he was dressed a bit like a demon with a weird fucking mask on.
4 horns coming up. It's like
Leona's little girls are quite sensitive, and I would imagine the little one particularly being quite disturbed by anybody, man or woman, wearing that particular costume. But again, it's the fucking delivery and the showmanship of it. Like, yeah, he attempted to, he made it look like he's so angry he's gonna throw his chair. He didn't. If you saw, he picked it up and swung it in a throwing motion, but was clearly swinging it straight back down to put safely on the floor just at the moment it went off air, because he's fucking that good. He does this every day. He hit his cue like a fucking... He wasn't going to chuck the fucking chair.
Can't hit his cue against me in the fucking ring though, can he? Hey.
And as soon as that camera went off, so he's literally like, I can't take it anymore, threw a chair, and we're clear, Alex. Whoo! Great job, guys. Great job today. That was great.
We're clear.
Hey, let's go grab a taco. Woo!
We're clear, Bill.
Yeah. Anybody got a joint? Yeah. Did you see my fucking Joe Rogan? He was loose, relaxed, having a good time. I'd love to hang out with Alex. I really would. Oh, it would be amazing.
It would be an experience, I'll tell you that.
It would be amazing. Taking him on a pub crawl around fucking Wellington.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, imagine him on my birthday, piss up.
It would have been amazing.
We still would have gone to the Raven though.
He would have got us into so many fights.
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
Or we might have got laid off the back of his fame. You never know. Well, I wouldn't, obviously, because I'm a family man and a married man now. And moving on. So yeah, I think
the thing is, I just say that we don't know the context behind person with 4 horns coming up their forehead. I mean, for all they know, the kids could have been told that was maybe a character from the book that they were reading from, and
maybe
we don't know. All we're presented with is Alex Jones's own sort of twisted, perverse view of it.
I'm glad that demon mask-faced person wasn't reading to me as a child. And I'm also glad Alex isn't like the main newsman. Like, imagine if he was on BBC News or something, like if the mainstream had to watch him every day. Hilarious. So I think we should, let's put this bad boy to bed. Diana was definitely assassinated.
Not in my view.
That was the conclusion.
Not in my view. I think it's an unfortunate accident.
So there you go. If you have been, how do we do this?
I will say that good night. I'm Ben. Don't drink the Favour Aid and don't join a cult.
Unless it's mine. I've been Gaz, and I will say free Biff Tannen and buy my manifesto.
I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
Good night. Thanks.